Good morning, Metru Nui! Welcome back to another episode of the Barraki Talk Show. We're your hosts, the Mielik brothers,
Jacob,
Samuel,
Thomas, and we're glad you're joining us today as we talk our way through the weird and wondrous world of Bionicle. But first, coming up on the Barraki Talk Show.
this sounds like a remote nightclub you would find like in just this strange mountain town in Idaho, the Claw Club.
What?
What are you talking about?
Do you need medicine?
Which is so frustrating. We were so close. We had elbows, and now we're back to no elbows, or at least no elbow. Samuel's like, it looks like Discord. Oh yeah. Mine looks like Sandshrew. Not at all. No.
All that and more coming up on the Barraki Talk Show. After the destruction of Metru Nui from Makuta's schemes, the Toa Metru fled to Mata Nui in order to prepare a new home for the sleeping Matoran. Now, after many perils, they've decided to return to Metru Nui, rescue the sleeping Matoran, and start a new life. Unfortunately, a new threat has overtaken the city, and it has different plans for the Toa.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. Yeah, we have a returning special guest today, Jack.
Captain
Hello,
Jack Sparrow.
Captain Crunch.
Yep. Wait, so
Aye,
is
aye,
Captain
aye.
Jack
Captain
Sparrow?
Crunch.
And-
No, he's Captain Cracker Jack Sparrow.
That's right.
Captain Cracker Jack Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Cracker what?
I feel like there's another Jack name on the top of my head that's related to captains, but I don't have it. It's gone.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
No.
Andrew Jackson.
I keep wanting to say Captain Crack Sparrow, but I know I'm like, that doesn't mean, that's stupid. Could this be because it's like 11 o'clock at night?
Possible.
Anyway.
Captain Crack Sparrow. Is that like related to Cocaine Bear?
The Crack Sparrow.
That would be a way more
Perhaps you're
entertaining
thinking of
movie.
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box was what I was
No,
thinking
actually,
of.
this.
You were thinking of Jack
Yeah,
in the
because
Crack.
it's Jack in the Crack, which
Yeah.
is based on Jack in the Box. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
You can say that all you want.
And the Jack in the Crack thing is from Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson.
Oh, man. This is going
all
to be a weird
coming
way
together.
to start an episode. I'm so sorry, you guys.
So, starting off, Jack Samuel, what do you know about the Toa Hordika? Wait, is it Hordika or Hordika?
It's Hordika.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Toa Hordika.
Hordika.
So what I know about the Toa Hordika is how to pronounce their name.
Wow, that's more than I knew
Bravo.
going into this.
That is
Jack,
it.
tell us, when did you learn this?
So it was a dark and stormy night.
News to me. We all looked out the window.
Yes.
Anyway, so Samuel, what don't you know about the Toa Hordika?
What don't that is the worst possible way to phrase that question. I don't know.
You know, skip it. Tell us what you do know.
You're good.
Give us the clip notes.
I know that they are the Toa Metru, just mutated. I know this I've learned fairly recently is that they're captured by the Visorak and mutated by being wrapped up in these cocoons,
Mhm.
and that's what mutates them.
Yep.
So they are not killed immediately as they should be, as they deserve.
I was gonna say, dang,
Mostly
blood.
just Onua.
Almost like how in The Return of the King, Frodo gets wrapped up by a spider and people think that he should be dead, namely
But he's
Samwise
not.
Gamgee, but he's not.
Yeah,
Spoiler
true.
alert, in case you haven't watched The Return of the King or read
And
the book.
also, spoiler alert for The Hobbit, just in case you haven't read that, they
it-
also
it
get
does.
wrapped up.
This tends
and
to be a
some of them
trend, I
think
think.
they're dead. So
This show just turned into Airplane Facts with Max.
Yeah, it did.
anyway,
Wait, also, other thing, Vakama uses round things, discs, and turns invisible.
Whoa.
Conspiracy?
Dang.
Just saying, just saying.
I mean, there are, as we've mentioned throughout this entire series, the massive amount of parallels between Lord of the Rings and Bionicle, so it's not really surprising.
J.R.R. Tolkien looking in the future. Oh, I'm gonna steal that one.
Going back to what we were talking about, I know that the Visorak are also intelligent. Like, they're not dumb rahi. They do actually think and can speak in, like, do they speak to them? Like, do they have their own language?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're also commanded by Sidorak and Rudaka. And they follow them because they're good commanders, not because they are, like, dominating over them. They have no, like, direct control over them, from my understanding.
Yeah.
And when did you learn that?
I also learned that last week. So this is all
That's what I told him that
fairly
stuff last
new
week.
information.
I know, I was there.
But nonetheless, I do know it.
Oh, he's got a point. If Jack
That's
can
true.
use his little tidbits, all's fair in love and knowing what you want about Bionicle.
I mean,
it is kind of war,
basically
right?
what it boils down to is the only thing I knew is that they were mutated, like,
Yeah.
by the Visorak. I couldn't have told you virtually anything else about the story at this point.
Yeah. Now, going on to what will we learn about the Toa Hordika? And that is everything except for the events of the movie, which we'll cover after this, just like we did
Good.
with the Toa Metru. So, how were they transformed? Because that's always important to know how they were transformed. Well, basically, the Toa Metru were walking through Metru Nui. They got kidnapped by a bunch of Visorak, stuck in cocoons, and transformed into the Toa Hordika.
By being shot with Rotuka spinners, right?
No,
Oh.
they were cocooned.
Oh.
And in the cocoons, there's a bunch of spikes that jab into them, and that's the Hordika venom. Hordika venom, yeah. And that's what transforms them, along with their masks and their tools. It transforms their Toa tools into different tools. A venom. A biological venom.
Protodermis, Thomas.
So basically, they're butterflies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ugly
You can come out and look
butterflies.
like pretty much anything. That's not true, because reconstituted at random makes you look like anything. This turns you out as a sort of mutated beast, always.
Thomas, they put you in the story?
Ooh.
But we'll cover more of that in the
Oh.
events section.
I remembered something else that happens in the Hordika.
Oh,
We'll get to it. I won't spoil it now.
is it a spoiler?
Well, it's not really a spoiler, I don't think, but I remembered a character that gets introduced during this wave that
Yeah.
I forgot about.
So, now that we know how they transformed, the in-depth backstory of how they transformed, we'll cover that in the events section and in the movie, because they both do it. But how were the Hordika different from the Toa Metru? That's the big question on everyone's mind. Well, we always knew they were freaks to start with, so now they look like a bunch of freaks. So that's one thing.
Maybe the venom actually just transforms your outside to match the inside.
That'd be funny. When they use it on random Rahi, it's like, man, these guys were evil the whole time. So, the Hordika, they lost access to mask powers. Bummer. They lost access to direct elemental powers. Bummer. They are described as half-rahi and half-toa. So this is kind of a neutral. It's a weighted negative, so it does have some positive. The positive is they become much closer to nature and feel a greater connection to the natural world, which they never really had before. The downside is that they become closer to their base instincts, so they're angry, short-tempered, and unpleasant, which you'd think is their normal personality traits, but now it's like jacked up to 11.
They're
Nice.
just all Onua now.
No, literally. And they can't use Toa power at all, so they couldn't make Toa stones or do anything with Toa's power specifically, because they don't have the willpower for it. And they cannot become Kaita, so they can't merge into other stuff again because of the willpower thing. I listed this as a negative, and that's because they retained their intelligence, and we know how smart the Toa Metru are.
Or how smart the Toa Metru aren't.
Yeah, exactly. So, on the upsides, they gained new tools. So all of them gained combat staffs, and these don't show up in the story. They only show up for the Lego sets, the system sets, where they're holding those big old staffs. That's when they show up in story. And Greg's like, yeah, I'll make them canon. It's like, okay, I guess they have those as well.
Wait, explain that.
So you know the piece in the Battle of Metru Nui set that we've looked at a few times, where they have like the figurines, the system version,
Mhm.
and they all have the two-handed
battle
like
staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Those are canon.
Those are canon.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All
I didn't
those
know
appear
that.
nowhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
See, okay, wait. That's actually interesting because I thought I was doing some research on Biosector, and when I saw the battle staff, I thought it was when it shows in certain promotional material, I believe, that you can take the two Toa tools and basically put them on one hand, and I thought that was the battle staff.
Not
But
that I know.
no,
Of.
the battle staffs are from the stupid
Yep.
system sets.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, very cool system sets.
Yeah.
What's stupid is
Tipped
the
your
battle
hand a little there,
staffs.
Jacob.
I like the system sets, actually.
Jacob's freaking out over system sets.
I like them.
But speaking of the elemental tools that don't combine to make a battle staff, they all get twin elemental tools. So these tools can charge elemental Rotuka spinners, which can essentially do anything their normal elemental powers can, right? So they all have Rotuka launchers that can mimic an elemental power. Then if they want to charge it up, they put it between their tools and do a supercharged version of whatever elemental effect they were trying to produce. Their twin tools can also charge other objects temporarily, and it acts like it makes it like something like a sentinel thing. So like they charge up a gate with their elemental powers, and then Norik, who's one of their Haga, he throws a rock at it and it vaporizes the rock, like shooting ice and water or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's a cool, unique thing that normal Toa can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So there is one like cool thing that the Hordika have over normal Toa. That and the Rotuka launchers give them additional range, right? Because normally if you're shooting a gout of fire 20 feet, it's going to drop off in power. But the Rotuka spinner's always contained where it hits, that's where the power starts. So they essentially have longer range, but with the drawbacks of they can only channel elemental energy through the Rotuka. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have one very important question, because as I'm thinking through this, it sounds like they've basically lost all defining characteristics of a Toa. So the one thing that I think will definitely cement their status as Toa still is, can they jump really far?
You know what? They can actually jump, from what I can tell, further
Whoa.
than normal. I know, because I thought
They're
the same
like
thing.
super Toa.
Yeah, I'm like, well, they can't use elements or powers. That leaves the physicality, right? So they are moving all over the place.
It's that extra rahi bit that lets them move across terrain.
No,
even
literally,
faster.
right? Because they also seem to be physically stronger
Oh, that's
than normal
interesting.
Toa
See, I
selves.
was mostly joking, but like that is interesting to know.
No, yeah, because like Onua in one of the things, he lifts up like a massive boulder to try and crush someone. I'm like, I don't think he could do that before without his elemental powers.
They just co-opted their spellcasting ability scores into their physical dexterity and strength ability scores.
Yeah, essentially. They're like a cleric now. They have like the physical stats and armor. Except they're not anywhere close to God. Onua's like, God,
God is dead and I have killed him.
But those are all the changes that the Toa Hordika have compared to normal Toa Metru. So, any questions about that?
This is sort of like Beauty and the Beast.
No.
There's no,
There's no beauty
in this
inside.
situation.
Is it like the same level of transformation as the Beast?
Yeah. Because like they keep their intelligence, but they have that crazy instinct
instinct.
side.
Like that bestial instinct.
Yeah, and they're physically stronger and look whack. So,
They look bestial.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Like
they
beasts,
have,
Like the beast.
do all of their household appliances turn into talking animate creatures?
No, but if they charge them with elemental energy, they could talk into like, or turn into walking sentries that blow things up.
Strange.
I would like to just
Imagine they walk
really
inside the castle
point
of
out-
Beauty and the Beast and just get vaporized.
I'd like to point out the way Jack phrased that. He said, did their household appliances become like sentient animate things? Not did his servants, did their servants become objects?
You got the mythology of Beauty and the Beast.
a little confused.
I have a theory that the reason that they made the Kaida thing not a thing is because they were just giving up on combiners at this point.
Well,
Like-
especially because of the weird build of the Hordika, I think it would have been hard to do combiners compared to
No, I disagree, actually.
someone's done it in the community.
I am going to try to find it.
Yeah, of course.
Samuel, even if it'd be hard, the other consideration would be it looks weird, but they've never considered that before. So, like, what's stopping them?
So they just gave up entirely for no necessarily good reason.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a combiner, and if it did, it didn't show up, obviously, in the story. Unless they should have just reused Kraka
Whoa.
again.
I have never seen this. This is actually an official model. Sorry, I got totally sidetracked. This is actually an official model, and this is really cool.
You gonna show us?
Yeah, hold on. It's called the Proto-Cairn. That's like actually really cool. How have I never seen this
So
before?
they didn't give up on combiners.
No,
You just
but
gave up on your job.
This is actually, so it's interesting though, because they gave up on Kaida, but they didn't give up on combiners totally.
Yeah.
So the combiners became separate creatures or like separate characters,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
I think it's kind of cool and kind of sad because, like, if they did keep going with Kaida, you'd just be like, why don't they turn into a Kaida and solve every problem? Because they're just straight up more powerful and useful,
Yeah.
right? So I think phasing them out of the story makes sense if you want both individual personalities and, like, individual stakes. So that's my opinion. But I was going to ask, do we want to go over the specific members of the team and how they changed first? Or do we want to go over the events first and then we can analyze the specific members of the team?
I think let's do the members of the team, and then we'll go crazy on the events.
Okay. So, the members of the team, the first one. This is going to surprise you. Vakama. You may know
What?
him from the Toa Metru, leader of the Toa Metru. Yes.
He's my favorite because he has a god complex.
Good. Yep. Well, he loses the god complex, but that's for events. I mustn't say.
As after you've already said.
Well, no, I guess I'm going to go into... He does lose it. Unspoilers, he does lose it.
Spoilers.
So, his tools changed into twin blazer claws. There's really
Blazer
no lore on what
claws?
their tools are. They just look whack.
Can you describe what a blazer claw
It looks
like?
like a tiny
like
little staff that has a bunch of fire coming out of it.
It kind of looks like the front part of a flamethrower.
Yeah.
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 It actually, you know what it reminds me of is a two-dimensional look at the portal gun and then a flame coming out
Yeah,
of that. Because it has like the weird little igniters almost.
Yeah. I agree.
I was thinking like men's sport coats.
What? Oh, blazer?
It's a blazer claw.
Wow.
Wow.
The comment just starts wearing blazers.
Dude, he would have during this era if he was human. Anyway, how his Hordika side affects him is that, so when they get captured, right, it's all because of Vakama, like literally, right? So they get captured, they get transformed, he's like, dang it. I don't know if I really feel qualified to lead this team now because I got way too big of an ego, right? I was way ahead of myself on what we needed to do. I was not taking anything into consideration. So now he's way down in the dumps, and then his Hordika side's like, yeah, you're a loser, go crazy. So, like, it's not helping him at all. He gets hit pretty hard by the Hordika side, but most of it is just from his normal feelings of inadequacy. Anyway, that's all I have for... They don't change that much from their Metru selves to the Hordika selves. And most of the changes we do see, I'll cover in events. So this will just be kind of brief. That's all I had for Vakama, is what I'm trying to say. Any thoughts on Vakama? Excellent. So now we move on to
Wow.
No Kama, also of the Toa Metru team. That joke's not funny, even the first time. So she has twin fin
She has
barbs.
what?
She has twin fin barbs, which is surprisingly hard to say. So they're like little. How would you describe them? I don't even know what they are.
Well, they look very similar to all of the Hordika weapons, except for Vakama's, do look similar, or they share similar design language to their Metru tools.
Mm-hmm.
So they are in some ways similar to her Aqua Axes or whatever they're called. I think they're called Aqua
Hydroblades.
Axes.
Hydroblades.
Hydroblades.
Aqua axes are for Golly.
That's Golly, yeah.
They actually look a lot like Onua's proto-pythons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the top at least does. Where it has like
Very pickaxe.
the pickaxe look to it.
Moving on, though, the Hordika side of her seems to hit her actually the second hardest out of all of the groups, because this is a thematic extrapolation. She has a lot of experience calming others down, but she doesn't ever have to calm herself down. So now that she actually does have a savage side trying to get out, she doesn't know how to deal with it, right? It just overtakes her randomly, which I'm like, ooh, that's actually a pretty cool thing to see. No common just losing it happens like twice in the same book. I'm like, oh, interesting. So I thought that was kind of cool. Moving on to Onua, though, he has claw clubs.
Claw club.
Wow.
That's what they're called. I was like,
This
okay.
sounds like a remote nightclub you would find like in just this strange mountain town in Idaho, the Claw Club.
What?
What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Do you need medicine?
Probably.
Did you say
I think I got injected
In
with
Idaho?
Hordika venom. Yeah, in Idaho.
because like bears?
Yeah, bears.
Oh.
Montana. Any of those
Alaska.
northwestern states.
Your intellect is just too advanced for us.
Fine. Forget I said
slowly
anything.
human.
Us normal folks. So he has the claw clubs, and unsurprisingly, Onua gets hit hardest by the Hordika side. So he has no self-regulation or external restrictions now. Because before he didn't have self-regulation, but he had external restrictions, like you can't go crazy and, beat up Matoran society because the Vaki will get you. But now he's like completely free to do whatever he wants, and he's gone. He's only checked by his sheer competence, because he is one of the most competent members, as we said, right? Like he's very tactical and knows what to do. So whenever it comes down to it, when something needs to get done, he's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But like, for instance, he's out on a mission with one of the Rahaga, and the Rahaga is like, oh, you need to think about how to do this, whatever. And he's not having it. He just picks up a boulder, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. Just instant, like, very little lead up to it. And I'm like, yep, seems like Onua. All my suspicions were confirmed. So you put the worst person, give him terrible, like, instincts, and yeah, you get Onua Hordika.
That tracks.
Yeah. But now we move on to Nuju, and his weapons are called Hordika teeth. Even though Hordika is not an animal, it's just the venom that the Visorak use. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Although it does fit with the theme of ice characters like the Korok Va using Borok teeth as its weapons. So Nuju, who's also an ice guy using teeth as weapons, I was like, that's a great callback, Lego. You got me on that one.
I just think I was doing some research on the names of the weapons when I was doing my technical section, and Hordika teeth is just such a weird, bizarre name.
They're like, we need names for these. Shuffle. Okay, that's the name. They just shuffled the
true.
dictionary.
Like, all the other ones at least sort of make sense, but that one's just like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what this even is supposed to mean.
And like, why specifically apply the moniker Hordika
Exactly.
to it? Yeah.
Like, it's just, I couldn't comprehend it. But, moving on. So, Nuju's personality, the Hordika doesn't seem to have affected him that much, because being an antisocial loser is indistinguishable from his normal personality. So it's hard to say
like
anything. Yeah.
Hey, now.
Because he's going through Toa Metru with his Rahaga, right? And he's like snapping at him the whole time, saying he's dumb and whatever. But I'm like, that's what you do to everyone. That's what you did to Irie, and that's what he did to Onua. So I'm like, is this supposed to show him being worse than other people? Or is like, because like, it's literally indistinguishable. So I'm like, okay, bro. Next, though, we move to Matau, and he has fang blades.
Wait, I would like to point out really quickly. Maybe Nuju acted like that for his whole life, because since he was always looking to the future, he saw his future Hordika self, and he thought, if I start acting like this now, then when I become a Hordika, they won't fault me for it. They'll be like, oh yeah, this is just his natural state, right?
You know, I actually can't poke any holes in that theory.
Tell me Nuju with prep time is unbeatable.
He and Batman would have a field day.
Yeah. Moving on to Matau again. He has the fang blades, and fangs are a type of tooth. Just saying.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah. And his Hordika...
But the Levok did not have a tooth
That's why I made
tool.
no comparisons.
Okay.
It's a completely new thing. Good job, Lego. This is an original idea. So, Matau, the Hordika, hits him the least hard internally. But he wants to be, like, as a normal Toa Metru, he wanted to be a free spirit and he wanted to be adored, right? Now those two things are in direct contrast. Because if you're a good-looking guy who's going around doing weird things, you're a trendsetter. If you're an ugly-looking guy going and doing around weird things, you're a freak and you should be shunned from society. So now he can't be adored by the masses or the other Toa because he's a weirdo who does crazy stuff, right? So that's my thematic extrapolation of how his thing worked. Is everyone following that, or is that way too whack?
No,
it
I
makes
think that
sense.
makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's like the handsome guy all of a sudden turned ugly.
Yeah.
Like he would feel, shunned. Like even if he wasn't shunned, it would feel like you lost that power over people, that charisma and charm.
Well, and it's funny because they explicitly address him as being handsome multiple times in this thing. He's always talking about how handsome he is, right? Nokama Nuju also mentioned that he's like at least thinks of himself as very good looking. And then Nuju does a thing where he looks at himself as a Hordika to show that he is really ugly. So it's like, obviously Nuju now thinks he's ugly, whereas he didn't before. So I'm like, there is, as we'll see with Predak later on, there's a standard of beauty in the Matoran universe. And it's weird to think that Matau was like almost peak physique of what a beautiful person in the universe could look like.
I mean, it's weird because the Toa Mata definitely come across as, not the Toa Mata, the Toa Metru definitely come across as like buff in a lot of ways compared to other Toa.
Mm-hmm.
So I could sort of see it.
But
then
all of them
everyone
are buff,
would
not
be,
specifically Matau.
all of them would be.
So I don't know if it's like the green or just like the very, I don't
Just
know.
his little mouth.
The little mouth.
Little mouth. Little circle
it's
mouth.
the slick back hair.
Well, it could be the little mouth because Predak also has a tiny mouth.
Oh. And he does not
Bionicle
have
likes
slick
small
back hair.
mouths. Tiny mouths are the standard of beauty in Bionicle, which is why Gadunka is considered to be the ugliest creature in Bionicle.
And it's funny. It's like sort of ironic if that is true because the Turaga Matau has a really big mouth.
That's true.
That's true. And he's the ugliest looking Bionicle in the series.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Just saying, it's all working together.
Okay, so really quickly, are we done with Matau?
Yes.
Because I just want to say this was not intentional, but I literally completely forgot there was another character we needed to cover.
Poor Wanua.
Wanua. What a perfect segue into the most nothing burger character. So,
The more we learn about Wanua, the more I just feel sad for him.
well, you're going to love the thematic extrapolation I got on this guy. But first, his weapons are called thumpers.
They're also the only, fun fact, well, we'll come to this in the technical section, but they're the only one that actually has a function.
Mm-hmm.
These were cool.
Anyway, he has the thumpers, right? Which is the only one-word tool that they have.
Yeah, why aren't they the Hordika thumpers?
Yeah, or something. The thumper claws. The teeth thumpers.
So they're unique in two ways.
Yes. And they also get used the most in the story. So, unique in three
Which,
ways.
again, that was the same thing with Wanua's tools.
The
from
shock drills or
Yeah.
whatever they were.
The quake breakers, right? Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah. No, Quake Breakers are Onua's. It was the Earth Shock drills.
Yeah.
Or shock drills. Yeah, that's.
Mm-hmm. Good job, Samuel.
Yeah, I'm learning something.
Good job.
So,
We knew
moving
you
on
could do it.
from his sick tools, how did his personality change? Well, the Hordika hits him extremely hard, since Wanua had no personality or will to begin with. Adding just rage and raw instinct leaves only rage and raw instinct as his personality. So he's just kind of a rage monster. And in one of the comics, he's basically like, it's funny because Vakama and Wanua and Nuju are walking through somewhere, and Wanua's like, we shouldn't have let the others go on a scouting mission. Vakama's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, we should have waited before they got back. He's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, we should have. And then Vakama grabs him by the throat and lifts him up. And he's like, you're sounding like Onua. If I wanted him here, I would have done so. Stop it. And I'm like, dang, bro. You know it's bad when you sound like Onua. Yeah.
And this is why I say this is the edgiest year of Bionicle.
Yeah, for sure. And it gets even edgier. Although it's not as hopeless as like the books 5 and 6 were, strangely enough. Because like now that the terrible thing has happened, right? There's no impending doom anymore. It's like, okay, we got to crawl ourselves back out of this pit. So it does have
Crawl
a more
ourselves out.
Yeah, it has like a tempered, hopeful tone.
Yeah.
So that leads us on to the events, though, unless we have any closing questions about the Hordika themselves.
Nope.
These guys, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a lot to say, but and it all ties into the technical section, so I'll talk about it when we get there.
Cool. So, the events. Dun dun dun. So, starting off events for the sake of time, I will be quickly summarizing the 7th book, which takes place almost entirely while the Toa are still in their Metru forms, and only at the end do they get turned into the Hordika. I do this so that I can elaborate much further on the 8th book, where they are entirely Hordika, and because I think it's more interesting and more thematic to the episode. So, here's the quick Book 7 recap, the Shadow of the Visorak. The Toa Metru have finished their journey from Mata Nui to the Great Barrier of Metru Nui, and they need a way to get across the Protodermis Sea. They find a Makuta layer that has a bunch of different scraps of metal in it. Inside, Vakama is ambushed by a being of pure fire who he defeats by absorbing all their energy, allowing them to get the scraps and build another Vaki transport called the Licon 2. They are caught in a storm, the Licon 2 is wrecked, and they all wash up on the shore of Metru Nui. There's all these Visorak webs all around, and they encounter new threats like all the Rahi being loose out of the archives, and that the Vaki have been fried and superpowered, essentially. So they get trapped by some of the Vaki, but the Visorak intervene and lead them into a trap in the Moto Hub. Inside, they defeat a sound-based being, and as they try to escape the Moto Hub, they see how many Visorak are all around. So they go down, and tensions rise as Onua challenges Vakama's recklessness and God complex, because through this whole thing, Vakama's like, we need to get the Matoran, we can do it, I got this, we're the best, nothing will stop us. And everyone else is saying, that seems kind of stupid, Vakama. So Onua's actually in the right here. So, eventually, to stop their bickering, they come to a truce, where Vakama will lead more intelligently, and Onua will not bicker. To get out of the Moto Hub, they travel through the archives, they heal an injured ash bear, and they realize that all the Rahi that came to Metru Nui were actually fleeing the Visorak this whole time, and now they have nowhere to go. So, eventually they get out of the archives and head towards the Colosseum, and Vakama has broken his part of this truce because he's being stupid now, and he leads them all straight towards the Colosseum on the main road, where they are ambushed, and then they are mutated into the Hordika versions, and as they are all falling to their deaths from their cocoons that they were strung up high above, they are saved by the Rahaga, who are like Rakshi and Turaga mixed together, but they're actually just Turaga who look like Rakshi.
So the Rahaga were just chilling there. They're like, they're gonna come out soon.
No, literally, it's like we won't save them before they get transformed. We'll wait till after they're transformed.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying.
It's like brilliant, Rahaga.
Wow. They're like, now you're little freaks like us.
How long were they in the cocoons?
Not very long.
Like
hours?
Like a few hours max. It seems to be a very short time. But time is also
very rapid transformation.
Time is also super compressed in the series, so it's hard to know.
Yeah.
Like apparently, the journey to Mata Nui and back, and all the time they spent there was like a few months. Which, when you read the books, it seems like a few days max. So I don't know how much time it was. It seemed to be short. So then the Rahaga are like, wait, you're not total freaks yet without hope, because there's a legendary Rahid called Kitongu who can cure the Hordika venom. And they're like, the Toa are like, we need to save the Matoran though. So instead of searching for Kitongu, we're going to try and make airships so we can get all the Matoran out of here. I'm like, wow, that's actually a noble thing to do. It's like, we're willing to accept our fate so long as we get to complete our mission. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And so that's where that book ends. They're now transformed into Hordika. So for almost that entire book, they were Toa Metru, and only like the last 3 pages are they actually Hordika.
I would like to point out really quickly, though, that it's like, this isn't necessarily the smart choice. Even though it may be a noble choice, it's not it's like if you could be reverted to your Toa Metru state where you have more access, well, your mask powers, right? But you also have access to your elemental powers, and really the only benefit you gain is the physical abilities of being a Hordika. It's like, I don't think it's selfish to go to Kitangu and go back to your original
They don't
state.
frame it selfishly. They're like, here's 2 valid options you can do. And the Toa are like, well, if it's only a ticking clock until we're fully Rahi brained, right? Because you can't fight this off forever. We'd rather spend that time helping the Matoran than gambling on Kitangu.
How did the Rahaga do it?
Do what?
Like, not go
Because they're
Rahi
based. And they weren't Hordika Venom. They were hit with Rudaka's spinner.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. So they don't have the same issues. They had the issue of looking like a bunch of little freaks. And even the Toa Hordika are like, man, these guys look weird. I'm like, who are you to judge? You stupid looking dude. So I just thought that was funny.
Wait, they were hit with Rudaka's spinner or
Which mutates.
Rotuka?
Rudaka's Rotuka spinner.
Oh, okay, that's really confusing.
I know.
Is there any indication that, or like, is there any acknowledgement that the heads of the Rahaga look like Rakshi?
Mm-hmm.
There is.
They're
okay.
like, you're a bunch of Rakshi-headed looking freaks.
Okay.
Like, wow.
I feel like I remember that from when I read the books, like, 15 years ago.
And that's why they're called Rahaga, because it's Rakshi and Taraga.
Oh, that's not their actual name.
What do you mean? They call themselves the Rahaga.
It's not Rakshi and Haga?
It could
Because
also
aren't
be
they
that.
the Toa Haga?
But that's like what the
They are the
portmanteau
Toa.
seemed to be, because the Toa Haga name came later.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Because they never call themselves the Toa Haga in the story. They're like, yeah, we were Toa once, vaguely. Norik and Iruni, that's who we were.
I want to know how many times we can put the string of little freak together in this episode.
Yeah. Everybody's just a
Samuel,
freaky dude in
Put
this series.
a little freak counter in the corner.
Next to the great
Next to the
counter.
great counter.
Jamie, look up Little Freak. So that's the end of book 1, where I don't know why it's classified as part of the Hordika series, because it's just a Toa Metru adventure.
It's the beginning of the Hordika.
Yeah, but there's only 2 other Hordika books, one of which is just a movie novelization. So it's like, you don't give yourselves very much time. I just thought it was very strange. So, now we move on to book 2. So in book 2, this is the actual one that's all about the Hordika. It's the only book where it is entirely Hordika. No Metru on either ends of it, right? Just Hordika. So I was really excited for this book, because I'm like, this is going to be a dumpster fire, right? Like, I hate the Hordika. I don't even like the Metru that much. So now seeing them and their whacked out forms is going to be so bad. But I was proven wrong, dear listeners, because I actually really like this book, and it left me satisfied, which most of the other books don't. They leave me with like a feeling of like melancholy, or just like, yeah, that was pretty cool. This one left me satisfied. I was like, wow.
What was the name of this one?
Challenge of the Hordika. So, how it starts off is that Rudaka, who is the viceroy of the Visorak swarm, co-leads it with Sidorak, who's like the king of the Visorak swarm. She starts monologuing about how lame the Toa are and how cool Makuta is. She's like, they're just a bunch of pathetic mealing worms, not like Makuta, who's the coolest guy I've ever seen. I'm like, okay, we get it. You're evil.
Makuta.
Yeah, Makuta. Oh, banana. Anyway, and she's like, man, I'm gonna betray Sidorak so hard because I'm just a schemy little person, and I'm going to be Makuta's right hand man after this conquest, so on and so forth. Anyway,
Funny turn of phrase for one of the only female characters in
she didn't actually say that, but you know what I mean. Anyway,
I was just commenting on your choice.
but then her monologue is interrupted because she's looking at this Visorak. She's like, wait a second, you're not normal. And it turns out that Visorak changes and is actually Kraka, who is the shape-shifting Rahi that the Toa Metru fight early on in their adventures. Basically, her whole deal is that she's a shape-shifting Rahi, last of her kind as far as we know. She doesn't like all the Matoran and Toa because they're noisy and they get everywhere, and she's like, I just want to take them all out so that I can control the city, right? And that's why she fights them in that book. But she gains a little respect for Toa in that book because, like, they beat her, right? And she's like, I gotta escape. So now that the Visorak have taken over the city, she's like, I don't like you either because you're a bunch of murderous losers. So that's why she's trying to take out Rudaka one-on-one. And so Rudaka's like, fine, if you want to do it, let's fight, Kraka. And so Kraka's like, heck yeah, I want to do this. And they make it a one-on-one match with all the Visorak watching, right? And it says that the crowd is split. Like, half the Visorak want Rudaka to die. Half the Visorak are, like, loyal fans of Rudaka. So it's a tense environment. So they're fighting on top of the Colosseum. I think. It's really unclear what the geography is, because some of the stuff that happens would make no sense if it's on top of the Colosseum. But also says Rudaka is giving the speech and the little levitating platform that Duma was always riding in. So I'm like, it must be in the top of the Colosseum. But also, I'll get to it. So in the fight, short story is that Rudaka curb stomps Kraka, and it's not even close. Long story is Kraka's turned into all this different stuff. And one of her tactics is to turn into like a giant worm, you know, Shai Hulud style. Not that big. And it says it goes underneath the ground and is like burrowing around trying to get to Rudaka. I'm like, if they're on top of a giant tower, where is the ground? Like, it's not going 2.5 miles down. Because Rudaka is strong enough to grab the worm and yank it onto the surface of the Colosseum and like slam it down. So I'm like, either she's such an outlier in strength that it's not even funny, or like the worm isn't that big and it's not on the ground. So I wasn't sure how to interpret that. If anyone knows, let me know. And this whole battle showcases that Rudaka is insanely physically strong and super agile and super cunning. So she beats Kraka, and she's like, I would kill you or give you to the Visorak, but I think it could be useful to me because you're a shape-shifting Rahi. And Kraka's like, okay, yeah, I'll work for you. And so I was like, ooh, that's kind of a cool alliance. So we then go to the Toa, who are on their separate tasks to get supplies for an airship so they can get the Matoran out of there. We'll go over Nuju first, because I hate Nuju. So Nuju, he's out and about in Toa Metru with the Rahaga, Collis, I think. And Nuju gets to learn the bird language, because Collis is like, oh yeah, I love all the ice bats and the flying Rahi, because that's what the Visorak have the most trouble catching.
This is the origin story of the bird language?
It is the origin story of the bird language. And this was set up earlier when Nuju's like, man, I wish I didn't have to like talk to people and I had to rely on myself. So now Collis is like, in this lonely thing, you know, high in the sky, I can talk to these birds in their own special language. Nuju's like, he doesn't like it at the time, but he'll come around. It's like talking to birds, yeah, that's stupid. They're just a bunch of dumb Rahi. But it turns out we get a lot of Rahi POVs in this book, and most of them are pretty intelligent, like enough to form like coherent thoughts and sentences and speak in Rahi languages.
Interesting.
Which I'm like, that's kind of cool. Makes putting them all into the archives seem very evil, but archivists seem to be evil.
I feel like the archivists probably have Matoran archive down there somewhere.
Good
They
point.
do.
The freakish looking
Yeah,
one.
remember the
That's true.
reconstitute
We know there's
that
at
random?
least one.
Yeah. So the mission Nuju's on is to get propulsion for the airship, so they need parts of a chute for that, because that's how the airships are propelled. So they're cutting off part of a chute, and then a bunch of Visorak attack them. And they're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And like Collis is like hanging from a thread, and then he starts speaking in bird language, pulls a Gandalf, and a billion ice bats come out and just swarm all the Visorak. And so they escape, but then they get chased more, and Collis calls out 2 Gukos for them to jump on and ride away on. And Nuju is literally like, I thought I was dead because this is so insane what's going on. But also he's like, I can't be dead because, quote, fate wouldn't be so cruel as to condemn me to an eternity with Collis, the Rahaga. So he hates this guy so much, who he's met for like 2 seconds, right? Where he's like, I couldn't die because I would never be in the same afterlife as him.
Nuju is just a piece of trash.
I know, like, you're garbage, Nuju. You're the worst. What a loser. So they escape on the backs of the Guko, and that's the end of their on their own subplot. The next is Nokama. And Nokama learns that the Hordika are more in tune with nature as she's swimming along, because they're going to the Great Temple. So, Nokama and Hurahaga, I don't remember her name, they go to the Great Temple, and this is a weird part of the story, because Nokama's like, this feels weird, I don't want to go in here. And the Hurahaga explains that holy places repel forces of destruction, like Hordika Venom and Visorak. since Mata Nui is a spirit of creation, it repels like forces of destruction. Which I'm like, that's a weird spiritual aspect that we've never see again, as far as I know, right? Because most of the religion of the Matoran it's mostly non-religious in how it functions, right? It's pretty mechanical. It's like we do our work, Great Spirit stays alive, we call out to him, he sends a bunch of Toa. Whereas this one is like a direct spiritual force that is repelling even Visorak from trying to take over the Great Temple. Which I'm like, I don't know, it was just bizarre to me. So, they go inside though, and Nokama fights a Gate Guardian, which is a Visorak-like thing? Yes.
The Rahaga's name is Gaki.
Yeah. So, Nokama goes inside and she fights a Gate Guardian, and it's like, it projects a small version of itself, where its normal version is like 7 times bigger and invisible. And so, Nokama's Hordika side totally takes over, and she goes ape mode. She's like, I'm gonna kill this little thing, but she keeps being annihilated by the giant invisible version of it. And so Gaki's like, are you stupid? What are you doing? Like, it's obviously big and invisible. Nokama's like, wait a second, it is big and invisible. So she shoots a Rutuka spinner and makes it rain. And now she can see the outline of the invisible creature based on the rain. I was like,
that is actually very
Samuel,
smart.
Please put a picture of the Gate Guardian on the screen, because it's the freakiest looking thing you've ever seen.
It's just nothing.
Freaky? Is it a freaky little guy?
It's a freaky big guy.
Oh.
You did say, you were like, I'm going to get that little thing just a few seconds ago.
That's because Nokama thought it was
Yeah,
little.
that was Nokama's thoughts.
I know.
Yeah.
But the freaky counter does not care. The freaky counter only counts.
It does not discriminate.
It doesn't discriminate against freaky little guys.
Oh, gotcha.
So, I was like, that's a cool way to do it.
I know.
Oh, what?
It's just so bad.
Yeah. We'll get to it in the Visorak technical section because it can combine her, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
it's a
so there's
combiner.
like, the real one is big and invisible, but he has like a small projection of himself.
Yeah, big old Gate Guardian, like 12 feet tall, invisible. Like a bit to the left, and in front of it is like a 2-foot tall Gate Guardian.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah, it looks exactly the
creature.
same.
Not like his baby.
No, it's just a projection. So
So
Nokama
it's
keeps
sort
trying.
of like an anglerfish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
sorta like
it's
that.
trying to distract
Yeah, okay.
with what can be seen.
Yeah, because it draws in people, right? They're like, oh, tiny little thing, I can beat this.
Yeah.
And then
Actually,
it, blam.
here's a
That's
picture
crazy.
on Flickr of that.
Yeah.
So there's the little one, and then there's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. So, after all that, Nokama beats it, and then they go down into the Great Temple, and they find Kraka had just slithered in there and removed a repair over engravings. And it said that these engravings were made by a Matoran who went into the Great Temple and carved out the names of the Matoran who would be the future Toa Metru. And so Nokama goes down there, and she's like, what the heck are these names? Because they'd been covered over by the Gamatoran who kept the temple. They're like, you can't do that, right? And so the names on that thing did not match the names of the current Toa Metru. It's like, suspicious. Yes. So that's the end of Nokama's little subplot. Then we move on to Matau's subplot, who's not very interesting. So we'll do him last because it also ties into some other stuff. So skip Matau. I don't know why I put him there. Moving on to Onua. So Onua is not handling the Hordika side well at all, right? He and Pooks, I think, are going into Toa Metru to go look for some more discs for the airship, right? And this is where Pooks is like giving him, he's like, you need to be smarter, right? There's Kikanolo in the way. You can't just fight your way through him, right?
You need to be smarter.
Yeah, because Onua's like, I'll just use my Mask of Mind Control to make a move. He's like, you don't have your Mask of Mind Control. Onua's like, dang it. He's like, I'll just use my elemental powers to move the Kikanolo. He's like, you don't have your elemental powers except your Rotuka spinner. He's like, dang it. He's like, think of a better way. He's like, I'm going to throw a giant boulder at him. And he's like, but there's like billions of them. He's like, no, I'm going to keep throwing boulders. And Pooks is like, why don't you just think of a better way? And then Onua turns around. He's like, what if I just smash you into a tiny pulp as he's about to kill him with a boulder? And Pooks is looking at him like, oh, dang, he's going to do it. It's just such a weird, funny moment. And then we cut away for like 3 chapters. We don't get a resolution of that cliffhanger. But eventually they come back and Pooks talks him out of it, and Onua's like, okay, I'm calm now.
It'd be like if Daniel killed Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid. Like, I'm gonna cut your head off with this katana, and then he just does it.
Mr. Miyagi's like, wax on, wax off, and Daniel's like, ah!
More like head on, head off, am I right?
So he stumbles onto a Makuta lair after Pooks lures the Kikanolo away, and this is where he finds Makuta's tablet that has his plans for the Great Cataclysm. So it's like this long until the Great Cataclysm happens, this long until the twin suns set. This is when I need to make my move. This is what I need to have done by then. And Onu is like, ooh, that's pretty interesting.
Makuta probably shouldn't have left his diary lying around.
I know, he has so many layers that he's just leaving stuff around. I'm like, anyone can find, they're just walking and people are finding these. Like, you're a weird guy, Makuta. So,
I mean, he did publish a whole book with all of his exploits.
He's just really well organized and just keeps so many records of everything.
He is well organized, like, I'll give him that. So, eventually Onua and Pooks encounter Kraka, who's disguised as a stone serpent, and who is slithering out of the Makuta lair that they just went into. And they're like, hey, you're obviously not a snake, because, you know, we know snakes. Pooks says that. He's like, you're bad at slithering. I'm like, dang, what a brutal roast to a shapeshifter. And they're like, why don't you join us instead? Because you still hate Rudaka, right? And she's like, yeah, I do hate Rudaka. Let's go kill her. And so they just recruit her.
That was easy.
I know, that was easy. But then there was a Visorak who can camouflage, watching them the whole time, who Rudaka had sent to watch Kraka. Because she's like, I don't trust Kraka that much. I want to get to know it. So he reports that, and Rudaka's like, yeah, I figured that would happen. So then they go, and they're like, now we need a way to attack the Visorak, right? We have Kraka. We need to go on the offensive. So Kraka's, they're like, why don't we just go get the Tatorok, the giant kaiju monster that we fought briefly in the comics that was, like, ginormous and tearing up the city. How they defeated it was they shot weakness discs at the ground and just collapsed through, like, billions of sublevels of the archives. So, like, we can just go get it again. It's still down there. And so they send Kraka to go down and get it. And it comes out roaring, right? And they're like, what did you do to get the Tatorok on this side? Kraka's like, because the Tatorok's main thing is like, what is the answer? No, what is the answer? Give it to me. Give me the answer. And Kraka's like, I told it that the Visorak had the answer and they're hiding it from him.
That's so smart.
I was like, that's genius. I'm like, Kraka, you should be a permanent addition to the team because you are way better than everyone else. So that's the end of Onua's subplot. Yes. So then Wanua is in the archives again, and they're looking for discs as well. And Bomanga, he's like, you need to study stuff so you don't give into your Hordika side, right? I'm like, oh, wow. Actually leaning on a personality trait that Wanua has. But don't worry, it will get dropped after that conversation. But they're there to find the discs and discover Visorak lore, because Wanua had seen a tablet with the lore on it before. So they do that, and as they're doing that, Visorak ambush them and literally send them to the Shadow Realm. Because that species of Visorak, they shoot you with the spinner, and it opens a portal to the Zone of Darkness, where there's just darkness.
This is the Zivon, right?
No.
Oh.
Zivon lives in the Zone of Darkness.
Right, yeah.
Yes. I don't know if it lives in there or whatever. They just keep it there because they don't want it anywhere else.
Which species of Visorak is it that's this?
Kagarak, I think.
That's the black ones, right?
I have no clue. None of their names match the elemental prefixes either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that's pretty spooky. But then like, wait, there, it's a distant point of light because another Kagarak had been sent into the Shadow Realm when one of the others missed. So they're following it to a portal way off in the distance. And so they finally see that the Kagarak's about to go through, so they rush at it and they all three go through at once. And it dumps them right in front of Sidorak in the middle of a Visorak tower surrounded by Visorak. Because the Kagarak was just coming out at home base. And so they're like, this wasn't a very good outcome to going through that. So they get captured and webbed up, obviously. So then we go to Vakama's subplot. And Vakama goes to his forge to find some controls for the airship. right? And he's super angry and depressed about everything because he's Vakama and also a Hordika. And he's like, Toa just destroy everything. They can't save anyone, not even themselves, right? We couldn't do anything to prevent our own fate. And he's just walking around and he like punches through a wall or something. And he's like, what the heck is here? And even Norik's like, what the heck is going on? And they pull it out. And that's when he finds a Toa disc for Nuri, the Matoran who found the great disc of fire that he journeyed with. And he's like, what the heck? How can a Toa disc of this guy exist when I'm the Toa? And then he pulls out his own Toa disc and he's like, wait a second. Something was scratched out on my disc and then chiseled over it. My image was chiseled over it. Yeah.
So they still have access to the Suva?
No, he was just carrying the disc around.
Okay.
Yeah. He never needed
Wait,
because he had
so-
his fire powers.
His backpack transformed with him?
Apparently. Don't ask me where the discs come from, okay? They just spawn.
So
He
let me
literally
just
pulled
get
it out
this
of his
straight.
butt.
Their weapons transform. His backpack presumably doesn't transform, and the disc inside does not transform.
Apparently.
Okay. Glad
Because it
that we're
doesn't mention
clear
that
on
he summons it from the Suva. I don't know where he's putting it. Maybe it's the Suva.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the only answer I have. So he's like, oh, dang, we were never meant to be Toa in the first place. That's why we suck as Toa, because we're just a bunch of randos. And they're like, wait a second. So they go and they break into Lee Khan's house, and they find notes that Lee Khan is saying. He's like, I have a really good feeling that I should make the Matoran who found the great discs into Toa. He's like, that's definitely what I'm going to do. But maybe that's too obvious. So I'm going to choose these 6 random other Matoran that I know. That seems like the plan.
Huh.
And Norik and Vakama are like, clearly something was altering his mind, right? Because like no sane person is going to do that. And so they all go and meet together on the Toa as it's going around town. Because that's the end of Vakama's plotline. So they're all meeting up and they're discussing. And they're kind of like, they don't address it too much until after the fight. But the long and short of it is like, we think we were picked explicitly because we work terribly together and we would fail to stop Makuta. Like, we think it was a machination of Makuta to get us to be the Toa Metru. And they're like, that stinks.
Give Greg another point for self-awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just thought that was funny. It's like, oh man, you're at your lowest point. Well, yeah, you also stink. And so that's why Kraka was going around setting all the, like, unveiling the inscription, showing the way to the notes that Makuta had set, right? It's like all to show them the truth of, like, they were obviously manipulated into being Toa. Because Rudaka even addresses it. She's like, I'm showing them the most powerful tool in my arsenal, the truth, right? This is going to break them. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty brutal.
Misinformation campaign.
Yeah, except it's true information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Information campaign.
yeah. So all the Tautoraks riding around Metru Nui, picking up all the different Toa. And they're like, okay, now we need to go on the offensive, right? So they see a Visorak tower. And this is the set where, like, the Visorak battle around.
It's called the Toa Tower or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we not going to cover Matt Tao's story?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Matt Tao's story. I forgot. I put it last because Matt Tao just goes to some airship hangar with Iruni, and they're searching for an airship mesh, and then the Visorak ambush them, and they trick Matt Tao into opening a barricade because they can imitate voices, and then it kind of cuts away, and it only begins again when all the other Toa on the Torak come over and save him.
Okay.
Because this is next to the tower where all the Visorak are congregating. So like, okay, we're just going to go there, save Matt Tao, defeat all the Visorak. And so they go over with the Torak and they're like, yeah, we're going to wreck everything. So they rescue Matt Tao. The Torak literally just carves open the roof of the building and like throws it away, like crumples it into dust. And obviously obliterates all the Visorak nearby. And that is another thing about these books. They just straight up kill the Visorak. Like, no pretense.
They've finally given up their pretense.
Yeah, literally. In one of the comics, a Visorak ram gets like shot over and it has Matt Tao no Kama in it, and it lands, and they're like, man, that was a rough landing. But the Visorak over there, I don't think I'll ever get him all off my feet. I was like, dang,
crazy.
that's so brutal.
Because they're spiders.
Yeah, exactly. If they'd been crabs, God's chosen animal type, this never would have happened.
All the Lego execs are arachnophobes, and they're like, this is perfectly okay.
So they rescue Matau, and the Sidorak is now summoning the Zivon. Because he's like, I know what's going on. I want to take out the Toa. So he starts summoning the Zivon, and they're like hyping up the Zivon. It's like, okay, this thing eats Visorak. We only bring it out if we don't care what the heck happens,
It's
right?
grand.
Yeah, that's how they talk about it. They're like, this thing is just going to annihilate everything. And so it's kept in the zone of darkness where it can't hurt anything. So they open a portal to the zone of darkness, and the Zivon comes out. And it's like this massive kaiju that's like an amalgamation of everything. It even says that Whenua has to make a check on his own sanity just looking at it because it's driving him insane. What? Which is a bit of an exaggeration because I think his Hordika mindset was like, his animal instincts like run, right? But he's webbed up and they're going to feed him to the Zivon. And so now we have one giant kaiju that the Toa are riding and one giant kaiju that the enemy are riding. What do you think is going to happen in this scenario?
Let them fight.
Yes. So the Zivon gets there and it's like about to eat Whenua and his Rahaga. I don't remember. Bomanga. And then the Toa comes charging and is like, Grr! Led by Kraka as well. Because all the Toa had jumped off and are on nearby buildings. So they're all doing that, like shooting spinners, just bombarding this Visorak tower with all their elemental powers, trying to distract rather than to destroy. So like it even mentions that Vakama's shooting low energy Rotukas so that they'll smoke a lot and blind the Visorak rather than burn them. I'm like, ooh, that's really cool. And this is where they mention that like we can siege this tower pretty easily since all our Rotuka spinners have near infinite range, right? It's like we're just launching spinner after spinner at them, and they have to come and engage us if they want a way to retaliate. I'm like, that's a pretty cool thing, because now the Totorok is fighting the Zivon, so they don't have to worry about all their cover getting annihilated. So they're jumping from rooftop to rooftop, avoiding counterattacks by the Visorak, and Kraka is helping the Totorok fight the Zivon. And so the Totorok is stronger and heavier, so it's dealing a lot better like physical blows and moving it around, but the Zivon has like has like claws and it can shoot webs and it has a stinger, so that kind of evens it out. But the
Zivon is so cool.
The Zivon is really cool, and it was about to turn into like a How to Train Your Dragon 2 moment where the big alpha gets speared because the Zivon had the Totorok up against a wall and its stinger goes in once, twice, 3 times. They're like, oh, that's really bad. Then Kraka turns into a flying Rahi and brings the tail down, and then the Totorok essentially like grabs it and throws it. So then it goes to Sidorak's perspective for a moment. He's in the tower. It says Sidorak's overseeing the battlefield, and he wondered when the Zivon developed the ability to fly. By the time he realized it hadn't, it was too late. So the Totor just launches into the tower, and like it doesn't destroy the tower because it's, you know, a tough tower, but it definitely like rattles it, and Sidorak falls off the side of the tower, and he's like trying to climb back up, all while like all the spinners are raining down and like drenching the tower in like sleet and hail and whatever. I just thought it was funny. But eventually the horde regroups. They're all inside the tower now. The Visorak are like, okay, we're getting ready for the massive counterattack. And so the Toa are like, wait a second. The Visorak aren't attacking us. They're all in one confined area, and we are Toa with elemental powers that can level buildings. So they don't destroy the building. Instead, they just clog up every single exit with like giant earth walls. So it says they put up giant earth walls around all the exits at the bottom, then rain water, and then rain snow. So these guys are like triple packed in.
Nice.
And so it's all the entrances are covered. And Sidorak's thinking, he's like, this really isn't good, because if you confine a bunch of Visorak into a space they can't get out of,
they're going to start eating each other.
Yeah, they just kill and eat each other. He's like, the last time, he's like, even if I do get them out of this, there's going to be like 60 of them left, max. I'm like, dang. Pretty brutal. But the Totorok and the Zivon are still fighting, and one of the Visorak who sends people to the Shadow Realm is like, I can just send the Totorok to the Shadow Realm. So it shoots a spinner at the Totorok, and Kraka sees it. She's like, oh, dang, that's not good at all. And the Zivon's like, you know, not touching it. So what Kraka does is she goes and because she doesn't have time to block the spinner, instead, she turns into the Toa Nui again. And she body checks the Zivon into the Ta Torok. So when the spinner hits it, all 3 of them get teleported to the Shadow Realm.
And they will never be seen again.
Yeah. I was
Just
like,
kidding.
That's a cool way
That is a pretty cool way.
end that fight, right? And
Is it just me, or is the Shadow Realm spinner just way better than all the other ones?
so
Yeah,
much
it's-
better than the other ones.
insane.
It's like bonkers how effective it is. Because there's obviously no size limitation, right? You hit a bean with it, boom, it's gone forever. But that's pretty much what ends the fight, right? All the Visorak inside have been trapped. The Zivon, the Ta Torok, Kraka, they're all gone. So the Toa are like, I guess we have this tower now. Cool. But for one final thing, they're like, Kraka did sacrifice herself for us. Her ambition started out as pretty selfish. She wanted to rule the city. She didn't like anyone. And they're like, we are Toa who have been turned into Rahi, right? Or like, are part Rahi. They're like, maybe she was a Rahi who was learning to become a Toa. I'm like, ooh, that's some nice stuff right there.
It's also poetic that she turned into a Toa Nui to
Right.
save them.
Mm-hmm. I was like, that's cool. Made me feel a little something in the cold embers of my heart.
You felt all the feels.
Yep. So the battle ends, the Toa win, and they open up the base, and there's a ton of bedraggled Visorak inside who it literally says they're just too tired to fight. These things that live only to like kill and harm other Rahi, they're just like, nah, man, we're done for the day. So the Toa just let them out.
I would also be exhausted if I was fighting all day and then got absolutely packed in with snow and then drenched with rain.
Yeah, exactly. So they clear out the base and they fortify it as their own, and they call it the Tower of Toa.
Great name.
Now you may think, well, aren't there a ton of other Toa towers in lore? Why don't they just call it a Toa Tower? I have no clue.
Because that's what the set name was.
Exactly. I'm like, why not call it a Toa Tower in the set though? That's what it is. Because it's not a tower
Thomas,
of
the
Toa.
set designers do not read any lore.
Yeah, that's a
okay?
good point. The set designers are like, what's a Toa? But the cool thing about this Toa Tower is it had a mask-shaped gateway on it. And so that's what they supercharge. That's what they charge with their elemental energy. So if any of the Visorak come to attack, they get zapped. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And you're like, you may think, well, why do they have a gateway instead of like entrances further up or whatever that only they could get to? It's like, because the Visorak could attack from any direction. If there's a gateway, they're all funneled to that one spot to try and break through.
Yeah.
Well, they'll all die to the elemental effects.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, another point for Greg. You got me, Greg.
Add one to the Greg counter.
Greg
Cool,
understands
odd
classic castle design.
Yeah. I was like, that's cool. I love how logical this whole book was. But this is when they all sit around a fire, and they finally come to terms that Makuta influenced the Khan to choose them over the destined Matoran. Saying they're like, yeah, that's why we're such a terrible team. And the quote they used was, "We are Toa Metru by the grace of Makuta." I'm like, ooh.
That cuts deep.
Yeah, banger line.
One more point for Greg.
Yeah. So I was
I
like,
think Greg's in the green.
And Greg
Yeah.
is in the green.
in the green.
He is definitely in the green
Yeah.
at this point.
So then the epilogue is just Turaga Vakama talking to Tahu, and Tahu's like, wow, that's pretty crazy. But Vakama's like, I'm not going to tell the story anymore because the night is too bright. He's like, I want the blackest, darkest night possible to tell you the Web of the Shadows story because I don't want to make it, like the night that's currently nice any worse. It's like, Tahu's like, dang, man. It's pretty rough.
More ammo for my this is the edgiest timeline.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have a question.
Mhm.
You said that they used Matau to break through a barrier. What was that?
What?
I'm pretty sure you said they used Matau, like they tricked him into breaking through.
Sorry. So Matau was barricaded inside as he's getting attacked by Visorak while searching for the airship thing. But then one of them was imitating Nokama's voice saying like, help, they're out here, they're killing us. So he opens the barricade. Then all the Visorak come through. And Iruni's like, stupid. Which totally fair.
Completely fair.
Yeah. Also, throughout this whole book, one thing I forgot to mention. So we know how the Rahaga told the Toa, they're like, oh yeah, there's a Rahi called Kitangu that can cure you. pretty much every single Rehaga individually is like, yeah, Kitangu's a total myth. Like, don't even, like, he doesn't exist, bro. Like, if he was real, we would have found him by now. I'm like, why'd you tell him that to start off then? He seems mean to me, but
A little bit.
So that's how the book ended. So that's the events of the Toa Hordika. Perhaps too lengthy.
I want to say really quickly, just about Visorak, and we'll talk more about Visorak when we get to the movie and Web of Shadows. But I feel like Visorak gets such a bad rap because it seems like every time you see him, it seems like he's doing or something is happening to him that's making him look incompetent. He's not incompetent, like at all. He's actually like a really good general. It's like almost everyone around him and all the situations around him make him seem incompetent, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, because they say it in the story multiple times that like he is a good tactician, a good warrior. He just relies on overwhelming force. But I'm like, that's not necessarily a bad strategy, because if you have overwhelming force and it works, why not use it?
Why would you not
like,
use that?
If you bring out the Zivon, who's gonna win? How was he supposed to know a Torak was gonna show up and solo it? Like,
it's not his fault.
What are you supposed to do at that point?
And also, I want to say too, the thing about like him wondering if the Zivon can fly is not actually an insane thing to think in the Bionicle universe.
Yeah, given how many things can just randomly up and fly.
Well, I was thinking the same thing when I read it. I'm like, yeah, maybe it developed. It lives in like a zone of total darkness. Who says what it can and can't do?
Yeah.
So I thought it was very funny as well.
Yeah. I was just gonna say on the Visorak point that it makes sense. Like we said earlier, that he is a good leader. So even though it's maybe not shown super well in the books, it must be true at least, because the Visorak do choose to continue to follow him, right? So if he was such a bad leader, they would give up, but they do follow him all the way through.
I've just heard people compare like Visorak to like Brekka, and I'm like, no, it's not even a comparison.
Yeah.
Brekka is actually stupid.
Or Visorak's not actually he's not dumb.
Yeah.
He just has unfortunate
circumstances.
Yeah. Like, he could plan better for them, obviously. Like, he's not a genius level tactician, but it's just like,
he's not
fine.
like a
He's
super
no
high level
Grand
thinker like
Admiral
Rudica.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
Like, Rudica is like very high level. She's like Makuta level almost of like
Schemey,
yeah, scheming. Whereas like Visorak isn't really a schemer.
He's not a schemer.
Visorak, he's not a schemer.
See, Makuta, he's a schemer.
Makuta's got plans.
Anyway, so I just had a few more miscellaneous thoughts. The Rehaga, I actually really like, because they're like the Turaga if they were actually cool and actually wise. Because Norik and Iruni drop some banger wisdom. I'm like, whoa, this is actually relevant to the situation and helps the Toa they're mentoring. Whoa! What a concept!
That's not acceptable.
I know. And they're also cool because they do things themselves. Because they fly, they're very strong for their size, and they have Ratuka spinners that like paralyze stuff or whatever. So it's like, they help fight the Visorak, they help save the Toa, they help go around. Even Iruni's like, there's advantage to my new form, like, because he's like doing flips or whatever and doing like Yoda style things. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Whereas the Turaga are just like, oh, I won't use my elemental power even though I have it. I won't use my mask power even though I have it. Like, you're literally about to die.
I think the fact that the Rehaga can fight off Visorak and the Turaga get kidnapped by fire goats speaks all the difference you need.
Great point.
That's true. That's so true.
Also, the Rehaga look really cool.
I really like the Rehaga.
I know that they're supposed to be ugly, but I really like how they look.
I know. I don't
Look like
understand.
baby Rakshi.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, I think they are some of the coolest designs, especially of the smaller figures.
Yeah, I always thought they were cool.
But I mean, the Rakshi head definitely contributes to
Rakshi
that.
head is just peak design.
Yeah.
It really is.
And also, I think they're a great thematic parallel, because like, here's a Toa team that's been mutated into part Rahi, part Toa. It's like, well, their mentors are all previous Toa who've been mutated into freakish-looking abominations. Like, they know what they're going through, right? That's why they can help them. Little freakish abominations.
Freaky little guys.
Yeah.
Add one to the freaky little guys count. That counts.
it's also really cool because I think this book sells the Hordika fantasy of being a crazy person that jumps everywhere. Because that's what all the promo art is, right? Like, they're jumping off buildings, they're, arms wide, they're diving through water. And, like, this book makes you feel it. Because, like, when they're in the final battle, they're just hopping from building to building. In the comics, like, they're swinging off the webs like they're Spider-Man. They're, like, swimming through the sea. Like, it's really cool. I'm like, yeah, if you wanted to go like that animalistic power fantasy, it does hit those notes. And also, they have a cool reason for conflict with the Visorak from a meta standpoint. Because as Toa, they're bound to fight them, right? That's their heroic duty, save the Matoran. But as Rahi, they're bound to be hunted by the Visorak. So either they're going after the Visorak or the Visorak are going after them. You can't be neutral in this thing. Which I'm like, that's a cool reason for why they're in conflict.
Yeah.
Right? Because like the Vaki, they could just avoid, right? And the other note is tons of Visorak die in this. Like, it's so many Visorak. Because in like books 5 and 6, kind of skirts the line. Is like, did they die? They're kind of off-screen death, you know? It's like, it's implied that they died, but it's like the jet rock thing. But then this one, it's like, now they're squishing Visorak, they're shooting them, they're like melting them with lava, dropping like tons of stone on them. In one of the comics, it has a flashback to Norik, and there's like a whole horde of Visorak chasing him, and he drops an entire slab of stone on him, which is the way it is visually communicated. They are so flat, it would make paper look thick. Like, that slab is wham! They're dead. There's no doubt.
How big are the Visorak? I'm not totally
They're-
They're quite
They're
large.
like a little larger than Toa.
Yeah, they're a little larger than Toa.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty
Yeah.
big.
So they're
I was
huge.
picturing them being like huge. I think because of like images that survived in my mind from seeing the system sets. But
Well,
so
there
they're
are
like roughly
Well,
on the
there
same
are
scale.
some large ones, like
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Web of
okay.
Shadows, Rudaka rides one, doesn't she?
Yeah.
That's like huge.
well, like Zivon is Zivon isn't a Visorak, but it's some sort of adjacent creature.
There's a lot of Visorak adjacent creatures like the Gate Guardian who aren't
Yeah.
actually Visorak. They're just huge.
Yeah, but there are some like big Visorak species, or
Okay.
again Visorak
They're not
adjacent
all
of some
exactly the
sort.
same.
No, yeah, most of them are just like most of the normal Visorak are the same size, and they're like roughly Toa size, maybe a little bigger.
Yeah, they're a little bigger than Toa.
I guess this is the year that they lifted Greg's kill
ban.
restriction.
Yeah, I guess. Because it was so jarring. Because, like, at the beginning of the book, I'm like, okay, maybe they're not killing them. By the end of the book, I'm like, they're dead. They reference them dying, being eaten, killing each other. Like, as Zivon literally eats one on screen, like, chomp. I'm like, oh, like, he's dead.
On
Greg
page.
finally finished his MI6 training, and
Yeah.
now he has the license to kill.
Yeah. So, the other cool thing about this book is it shows why the Toa were losing the Toa Dark Hunter War. Because if they went all out with their powers, they would destroy Metru Nui, right? The Toa Hordika, by just shooting like one Ratuka spinner at a time, are like entirely besieging an entire tower, right? It's like, imagine 150 Toa using their normal elemental powers. They would wreck Metru Nui. So they have to be very careful with how Toa use their powers. But in this one, it's like...
Surgical about it.
Yeah, but in this one, it's like, no one's here. Go crazy. Destroy as much of the city as you want. It mentions, like, every time the Tautoric's moving, it's just, like, plowing down 3 buildings at a time. It's just, like, destroying chutes with every step. Like, that's so cool.
Which Metru were they in?
I don't really remember. I think Lee Metru for the most part. So, this is the only real book of Hordika that's entirely Hordika, and I thought it was really good. It moved at a nice pace. It allowed the Toa to face different obstacles, show how they changed, had a nice use of powers and abilities, and had interesting characters in the Rahaga, and had an epic battle with 2 kaiju that served as the climax of the story. I'm like, I felt very satisfied. That was cool. So, that's my thoughts on the whole Hordika business.
Seemed like so like coming into this with no background knowledge of the Hordika, basically. It seems like almost like a little horror subplot of Bionicle where you have this like descent into madness almost, and they're like forced to grapple with their own darkest self,
Yeah.
you know, which seems like a cool, I don't know, a cool storyline.
You even
Yeah.
see that a lot more in the movie too. That's like a huge subplot of the movie.
And then also the fact that they're fighting giant spiders sort of like leans into the
Yeah.
into
yeah.
the horror
Uh-huh.
theme a little bit more.
Yeah,
They don't
spiders
call
are
it
creepy.
Hordika for no reason.
Ah.
They don't call it that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2005 is just such an underrated year for Bionicle in my opinion. Like genuinely, like almost everything about it is underrated. The only things that aren't underrated are the things that are way overrated. Hordika, mainly.
Yeah, I
but-
came away thinking, I'm like, why did nobody tell me the Toa Hordika were this cool?
Yeah.
Right? How come no one told me the Visorak are cool villains who are intelligent and cunning, but also like a swarm mind controlled by like intelligent and cunning Hordika, and Visorak's also there, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. It's just like, I'm like, this is a fascinating story. The Rahaga are cool. I liked pretty much everything. Onua, Nuju notwithstanding. So I'm like, I felt lied to. Darn you, Bionicle fans. Preventing me from just reading it free online.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Or with the books that we own.
Yeah. We don't talk about those.
Anyway, shall we move on to technical section? You are now entering the set and technical portion of the podcast. This is where we examine the real-world production and set design of the LEGO Bionicle toy line. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is it's interesting that the Hordika are described as ugly, because I actually think that the Hordika sets are some of the most aesthetically pleasing Bionicle sets just generally. If you look at them compared to other ones, to other Bionicle waves, there's something about them that just looks like so complete.
I feel like
really
their arms
interesting.
look kind of weird though.
Yeah.
Minus
Little
the
swingy
arms.
Weird.
Minus
Yeah.
the arms. But there's just something
Besides
about
half
them.
of their number of limbs.
But I don't know. I think you look at them and they just look cohesive in a lot of ways. Like, I'm not saying that you have to love the design, but like it's something about it feels very finished, polished in a lot of ways.
I do actually really like the designs in general.
Yeah.
I feel like I much prefer how the Metru look though.
Yeah, I think I prefer the Metru
I
look.
prefer almost every single wave before the Hordika. It's just interesting that the ones that are supposed to be ugly, right, appear to me as the most like...
Yeah, they're definitely not unpleasant to look at.
No, they're not.
They just look sort of beastly.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. And I think that that's actually
Gangly.
very positive because they're going for that like bestial look and they definitely accomplish that. A couple interesting things about them is that the main like change this year as opposed to previous years, the heads are not masks
Yeah.
for the first time, which is a choice
Yeah, it's a choice.
that they will quickly remedy. Well, not super quickly, but quickly enough.
Yeah.
They will remedy that.
It's a choice, but I don't feel wrong saying it is definitively the wrong choice.
I agree with you. Yeah,
Because I think that's part of the reason they're so out of the fandom consciousness. Because like you can't use their heads as masks.
Yep.
Like because they're not masks.
To this day, I do not know why they made that decision. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you think it's
But-
just to like set them apart as sort of Rahi?
Maybe.
It could be.
Because their heads definitely do have more of like a beastly look to them.
If I had to guess, I would say that it came as part of they were looking at some way to make them appear beastly. Someone took the Visorak eyes and was like, these would probably work as eyes. And then they designed the masks around that. That's my best guess. Christian Faber, if you're listening, please tell me if I'm correct. But yeah, that would be my best guess on how that came about. But it is such an interesting choice, and it is the biggest sticking point for these sets by far. As good as I do feel like these look, I think that they are essentially just inferior versions of the Metru in every way. They're shorter in stature. They're less posable, partially because they bring back the single piece arm on one side only, which is so frustrating. We were so close. We had elbows, and now we're back to no elbows, or at least no elbow. And the play functions are just pathetic. The quote-unquote play function, which has been reduced down to a gear arm on only one arm, despite them having the exact same Toa tool on both hands, which you can turn and move the arm, and it's so pathetic and half-hearted and just like, why'd you even bother?
It also just makes their arm look so weird.
I agree. Yeah, they look lopsided.
Which I don't
because
mind.
they are lopsided.
Yeah, I don't mind a lopsided look for like bestial looking people, right?
Yeah.
But like it just looks like it was badly designed, not like it's intentionally lopsided.
Well, and it would be fine if it was like on one of them, but it's on all of them. And since they're all like this very cohesive look, having it be all of them have this like weird lopsided arm just looks strange.
Yeah.
I think the fact that the arm can bend past 180 going like down
Like
towards their
double-jointed
knees
elbow
is probably it contributes to that.
Totally.
Like, this is just stupid.
Yep. Hard to agree.
Yeah.
I think and this is a slight tangent, but I think the only thing that is improved from the Toa Metru are the Toa tools. This is a hot take. This is my hottest take. I think these are the best Toa tools of any Toa tools in all of Bionicle.
That is a hot take.
I know.
I'll give
Very
you
hot
that.
take.
a
I'm
super
personally not
hot
a
take.
fan of the two-tone.
I think it just
pieces.
looks so good. It looks so clean. And also, these are some of the sturdiest Toa tools that exist. Like, having them in hand, they feel really good.
My beef is they feel so like ginormous and proportionally lopsided. Like they just look, they're huge.
Yeah.
Like
They are.
it
That's
doesn't
true.
fit on normal sized Toa. It's even big on the Hordika.
It's true. But I don't know. I do think they look really good though. Just design wise, they're really good to me. Okay, so some facts about these guys. They all had 48 pieces because they all had the exact same build essentially. There was no variation. Even the Metru had some variation. These had no variation. They're all 48 pieces. The recommended retail price at the time in 2005 was $8.99, which is actually a $1 increase from the Metru. But funnily enough, Vekoma Metru and Vekoma Hordika have the exact same number of pieces, 48 pieces.
Funny.
But Vekoma Hordika costs $1 more.
You pay the extra $1 for the edge, Jacob.
Right. The edge is worth
Yeah.
the price.
Edge included.
So at this point now, we have had a $2 increase from the original Toa Mata. Now there is a fairly significant parts increase, but yeah. So the prices are slowly now climbing up a little bit. This is also, these guys would introduce the launching weapon feature that would sort of end up becoming a staple of Toa and their primary wave villains throughout pretty much all of the rest of Bionicle.
Which I love the launching weapons. They're so fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Not specifically the Rotuka spinners, because you can't aim them.
Yeah, you sort of can, but it's really hard.
Yeah, and the super long bar that you have to pull and zip
which
through.
looks so bad when it's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. Don't even get me started on how one of the combiners makes it appear as though the spinner thing is actually diegetic, which I hate. But anyway, I mean, to me, the Rotuka spinners are fine. They're inconsistent. Sometimes you'll pull the cord out and they don't like take off, which is annoying. They're really hard to aim, and they're a lot less fun than just the disc launchers. Disc launchers are just way more fun.
Disc
They're
launchers are so
essentially
fun.
the same thing, but better.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly why they decided to do the Rotuka spinners, but you know,
But like, it's got to be round because it's like Metru Nui themed, but it can't be good because it's because of reasons.
So didn't Lego try to do basically the same thing again with Ninjago?
I was gonna say
Right,
the
they
Air
did.
More
Jitsu
recently.
spinners.
but that makes a lot more sense in
Did
context.
those work well?
They
I
did
never
work
had any.
well. No, they did work well, and they weren't really meant for battling per se.
Okay.
I think you could, and that was like a function of them, but because they weren't really meant for battling, it kind of worked better. So anyway, yeah, the action features really just go out with a whimper in these. This is the last time we'll see like even an attempt really at like action features. And the arm mechanic is just so bad. It's terrible. I don't know what they were thinking with that. It's not fun really, and it just looks terrible when it's not in use. So yeah, rip, I guess, but an attempt was made.
There's only so many joints they can have a gear activation for a play feature.
Which you can see, like, they really struggled to figure out what they were going to do. And they struggled to get one in. And I guarantee you this was someone at the top was saying, you have to have a play feature. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll do
Make
this.
the elbows bend.
Yeah. And so they made 2 entire new molds for this. That it's like, was it really worth it? Because I'm not thinking it was.
I feel like at some point posability becomes like a bigger deal than being able to swing something.
Very much so, and that's why you will see that being the focus throughout the entire rest of Bionicle. So
yeah,
and that's a full. For those people who say Bionicle lost its soul when it lost the play features, a full half of Bionicle does not have play features at all. Okay? I don't want to hear it anymore.
These people will listen to the Paraka rap and say Bionicle has no soul.
Anyway, I do think the overall design and color scheme looks really cool, especially the color scheme. I'm very excited to have the accent color back. Like an actual decent accent color. Especially really like the Toa tools, as I mentioned. They're just, from a pure look standpoint, they just look so clean, so polished, and just like they have a very strong presence, which is really needed for these particular figures because they're so simple that having like that strong presence and that strong silhouette
and
really helps define them.
Their heads all look a lot more similar too, so there's just less to distinguish them.
Yeah, everything about them is super similar. One thing that like really is just an indicative of like how far they're moving away from sort of Technic-based sets into more like action figure-based sets is just how many brand new parts were introduced for just these, for this series. 17 of their 48 parts, and that's including like Technic pins and stuff like that. 17 of the parts were completely new, which is like unprecedented, obviously, except for the very first, the Mata, right? It's crazy how many parts were brand new. The legs, arms, chest, the geared arms, the chest armor, torso, the spinner launchers, the feet, the heads, and the Toa tools were all brand new, which is insane.
Dang.
The Hordika also introduced the all-important Technic lift arm modified ball joint angled 1x2, which you probably know as the gray piece with the 2 axle holes and the ball sticking out.
That's a very important piece.
It's a very important piece that was introduced as the kind of foundation of the head for the Hordika. And this piece would make appearances in over 150 Bionicle system and Technic sets following its introduction, and it's still being used today, like commonly.
Which one?
Technic lift arm modified ball joint angled 1x2.
You
The
know
classic.
the piece, Thomas, that goes into the Hordika head that the eyes attach to? It's like you run the axle through the eyes and then through that
That's that piece?
ball joint
I never
piece,
knew.
yeah.
That's a cool piece.
It
Good
is
job,
a great
Toa Hordika.
piece. So yeah, so that one would come up in a so many Bionicle sets after this, so many Technic sets, so many systems.
Yeah, I
sets.
feel like it becomes almost as ubiquitous as like the socket piece.
Yep. More so even because it's still being used and that piece is not. Yeah, it's crazy. That's that. So thanks Hordika for one very fundamental piece in Lego's arsenal. All right, so on to the individual Toa. There's not a lot to say about each individual one because they are essentially copy paste except for the mask and the Toa tools. So we will go through them though. So Toa Hordika Vikama, set number 8736. His color scheme was dark red and silver, and he had a dark red mutated Huna. I'm quoting that because it's never really defined in the sets of the promotional materials as even being a mask, but Biosector says it's a mutated Huna, so that's what makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going with. This set, or this part, would also be recolored in dark green in 2007's 8940 Karzani.
Who we keep mentioning.
Yeah. So it ended up being his shoulder armor. And so it was recolored into dark green and used as shoulder armor. Why they didn't just use the Matau one, I don't know. But
Matau is a weird looking Hordika mask, but we'll get into that.
True. I think Vekama's mask it's the most standard. It looks good.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it.
Classic gotta set the tone style mask.
Right. Very, very red Toa of him.
Yeah.
He had twin blazer claws, which we talked about the blazer claws already.
Yeah, we did.
And the blazer claws were dual molded in dark red and trans orange, with the trans orange being the flame part. Although it's not the normal trans orange, it's definitely a little more opaque than typical trans orange. And it's also rubber, which is interesting. What's interesting about the dual molding on these parts is that it's a new type of dual molding that we haven't seen in Bionicle yet, because it's not like the marbled dual molding that we saw on the Metru Nui Matoran and like Duma's mask and stuff like that. It's actually two distinct colors, and it's the same on all the Toa tools that it has that. So it's clearly some sort of new process that they were working on.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. We would also see the blazer claws in the System Bionicle playsets. So there's the epic 8759 Battle for Metru Nui. And interestingly, this piece gets recolored in black and trans orange in the aforementioned 8758 Tower of Toa. So
I know that thing.
Weirdly, Vekama is the only Hordika whose main components of the mask and the Toa tool would be used elsewhere. All of the other Toa in this wave's mask, Toa tool, and torso part would remain exclusive to their sets. Which is really a shame for some of these, especially the torso. I did not realize that torso piece is only used in the Hordika, not used anywhere else. Which is so interesting because it's such a versatile piece. I've used it in MOCs a million times. And I found out when I was building my Toa of Air MOC that it fits perfectly with the Ignika chest pieces to make like a really solid looking torso.
That's cool.
Yeah, super fascinating. Almost as if it was meant to do that, but it's not. Super fascinating.
It's like a being made entirely of fire and a being made entirely of sound, but are unrelated.
And if you're interested in seeing how that works, I will happily provide some pictures. Just let me know. Let me know in the comments or whatever. Email us. Each of the Hordika also included a silver Rotuka spinner and then another one with a code on it. So there was like a generic plain one, and then there was one with a code on it. And the codes could unlock wallpapers, music downloads, and short animations and stuff on the Kanoka Club website, which was one that was established in 2004.
Yeah.
Because the discs, the Kanoka discs in 2004 had codes on them. But they were all the same for each set. So like the numbers, the disc powers were like the code that you would use.
Yeah.
And so they were the same. So people could just look them up online. And like unlock everything that there was to unlock. So the Rotuka ones were all unique. So each disc has a unique code on it.
Oh.
Which is really interesting. Even from set to set.
That is pretty crazy.
If you had a Vekama Hordika and I had a Vekama Hordika,
had different codes.
We wouldn't have the same code.
But unlock the same thing, correct?
It would give you points toward unlocking stuff.
Oh, okay.
So every new code you got added more points to your account. You could unlock things.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Super interesting. The spinner function is fun, and mostly works well. But as we mentioned, it's kind of whatever. Okay, next up we got Toa Hordika no Kama.
Woo!
8737. She is dark blue and silver and has the mutated Rao. Her weapons were twin fin barbs, and they were dual molded in blue and silver. Aside from this, literally identical to the others.
Yeah. I will say, Nokama is my favorite of the Toa Hordika. I think she just looks, I don't know, like she did the aesthetic the best. is how I'd say it.
Something about the blue and the shape of her mask.
Yeah, the shape of her mask, I think, is what really does it. I can't explain it, but she just looks, I don't know, I guess because she's more rounded than the others, she looks more like an actual, it looks more like a mask. I guess that's what I like about it. It looks like a mask.
Yeah, I think I could.
But still animalistic. I guess that's what I'd say. But I got no other comments.
Next up, we got Toa Hordika Wenua 8738. His color scheme was black and silver. And he had a mutated Ruru. His is the weirdest looking mask to me. I don't know if I like it. I've never quite settled on I don't like it. There's something about the shaping in the front that I just can't quite buy. And if you are listening to the podcast version, I would highly encourage you to look up a picture of it because it's hard to describe. It's sort of like a concave shape in the front.
It just looks so like flat and industrial. It doesn't look animalistic.
Right. That said, even though his mask is my least favorite of the 6, his Toa tools, probably my second favorite.
Yeah, they're cool.
Vakamas are my favorite. But they can be, they were the twin thumpers, and they had a cool function where you could push them down and they would spring back out, kind of like a drill.
They were really fun.
They were really fun to use. Sometimes I'll just
I know, they just
do this.
Yeah, like fidget spinner type.
Yeah, exactly. Thing. They are a little bit fragile though, just the way that they're built, but they're dual molded, which is so fascinating that they were able to do that.
Yeah,
with that dual molding process.
Yeah, so. They're really stress testing.
Because it's like rubber and hard plastic, dual molded in black and silver. It's like, man, I can't even imagine how expensive those pieces would have been.
But heckin' worked.
Totally. Aside from that, same as the others.
Yep. Fascinating stuff.
Right? I know. These are like by far, like all the other ones I've had something more to say, but there's just nothing more to say about these. Like there's nothing even to distinguish them. So
which fits with Wenua.
Right. Next up we got Toa Hordika Onua 8739. His color scheme was light brown and silver, and he had a mutated Komau. He had claw clubs, and they were interesting because they sort of look like a mace on a chain a little bit, and they do definitely call back to his proto-pythons from his Metru version.
Yeah, because
they have that same chain design.
Yep.
But I like his Toa tools. They're a little confusing on like whether they're a weapon or a tool.
They just look kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And small, especially compared to the other Hordika weapons.
For sure.
It's like, I don't know how much force you can put behind that, especially since it doesn't look like it's swinging around to add it. So, yeah, it just look kind of gormless.
It's fascinating how, if you look at the like blade part of it, where it looks like a blade, how it's like just that part has the marbling.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I'm curious, Jacob, so I'd assume that the silver part is more of a rubbery mold and or like at least a flexible plastic.
Like a more flexible plastic, yeah.
And so do you know if the silver in the base of the part, is that like a different silver from the top part of the tool?
I think it's the same.
Very strange mold.
I'm
just curious to know
I don't know what they're thinking with this
would be like
piece at all.
Yeah, it's sort of all over the place, I think.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I also think those little like hooks that stick out are there just to create visual interest, but they're not needed at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, they almost look like it
makes it look cluttered, like there should be one on the other side.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Onua's not my favorite. His mask is fine. It doesn't do much for me. It's very flat again. Yeah. Not in a way that's like offensive like Onua's is.
It's not offensive. It's just lame.
It's just kind of boring. Yeah.
So detract a point from Greg just for Onua's design.
That said, on the other side of it, we got Toa Hordika Matau 8740, who I think besides Vakama is probably my favorite. I really like his mask. Actually, a lot. I think it's the most like bestial looking.
Yeah, because it kind of looks like reptilian, almost dinosaur like
crocodilian.
He looks like Mesogog, kind of.
He does look like Mesogog. Deep cut for you Power Rangers fans out there.
He's the villain of Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
So.
He shares a lot of similar design language with No Comma, for sure.
Yeah. Which is why he's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I love that reptilian look. And then his fang blades. Yeah. I really like them. I think they're really cool.
I think they're pretty cool, but again, they have that thing that juts out underneath the blade, which I don't know what purpose it serves.
I don't know either, but it doesn't bother me nearly as much.
No, it doesn't bother me as much. It just looks weird, which I guess is the theme of the Toa Hordika.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think his Toa tools are really cool. I think they're one of the more effective ones for sure.
Yeah. Because they're not freakishly oversized like No Commas.
Right. Yeah, and again, his pieces would not show up anywhere else, and aside from the mask and the Toa tools, he's just identical to the other ones, and the colors, obviously.
Yeah. But that brings us to Nuju.
Toa Hordika Nuju 8741, our last one. Best boy. Just kidding. We hate Nuju. Nuju's had a white and silver color scheme, and his mask was the mutated Matatu.
Say that 5 times fast. Mutated Matatu.
Mutated Matatu.
No, this is Nuju. It would have been great.
Yeah, Matatu's mutated Matatu.
Yeah.
He has a distinction in that his set is the only one that includes an asymmetrical mask. So it does have a scope on one side. It's a good looking mask. It looks fine.
So, yeah, my hot take here is that I think Nuju's is actually my favorite Hordika mask.
That is a hot take.
I think it's because it just always reminds me of a rhinoceros every single time I look at it.
I could totally see
and I'm
rhinoceros.
like, you know what?
Yeah.
Since it conjures up a clear image of an animal in my mind, I'm like, it works. It works for me. The scope does not bother me at all. So I like it.
I hate to say it, but Nuju does have quite a bit of presence in this one.
That's funny. I have the complete opposite thoughts. I'm like, Nuju, probably one of my least favorite Hordika, because like he just doesn't. He's like the scholarly type, right? The loner, cool, competent Toa, and his design just seems so off of that without like adding anything new, right? He's just like, yeah, a weird looking rhino thing with a scope on it, and it's just like, okay.
Nuju.
I don't understand it. Enlighten me.
I think this is also an unpopular opinion, but I actually really like Wanua's mask.
Dang, that is an unpopular opinion.
I like Wanua's mask for its uses in build cases, but I don't necessarily like it. So I'll say this. I like it as a mask, but I don't necessarily like it as a mask in context of the story, which is why. So on the exact flip side, I like Nuju's mask, right? But, well, no, I guess it's in the same vein. I like Nuju's mask as well physically, but I don't necessarily like it in context of the story, or not so much not in context of the story because it does fit that beastly look to it, but more along the lines of it does not speak to his character. It doesn't necessarily like align with how you would perceive his character, as
it looks
Thomas
sort of
was kind of
like
saying
piggish or something.
Yeah,
right?
It's too. It doesn't have like the streamlined look that you would expect from more of an put together, silent, strong lone wolf sort of character, as we've seen actually all the way up to this.
Yeah,
like
I do think that is sort of true. I would agree with that, and I think it's that rhino look again.
Yeah, that's what I think really does it. Is it's brutish. It looks like rough and powerful. But that's not exactly the feeling I think we should be getting
and
from
because he's
Nuju.
not even, when his Hordika side is like tempting him, it's not even like a brutish sort of Hordika. It's like a judgmental, disdainful, isolationist sort of
like a wolf
instinct. Yeah, right. So like it doesn't even communicate that sort of information.
That would have been so cool.
Oh,
a wolf-like
Nuju?
Hordika mask.
That would have been sick, actually.
Yeah.
Give the furries what they want.
Nuju did also have his Hordika teeth.
Hordika teeth.
And they were dual molded in white and transparent blue. Again, sort of that more opaque transparent blue. But it's meant to look like ice blades. And it's cool. It looks good.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not like stand out to me, but I like it.
Yeah.
How it looks.
There's a lot
I
of
don't
other
hate any of the Toa tools, honestly.
Onuas I don't like. Onuas are by far the coolest, I think.
The Thumper. Well, no, I think the coolest are Vakamas. Anyway, I think one mistake that was made with these sets was giving them 2 Toa tools.
Yeah.
They should have just given them one and then like a hand on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have made their lopsided arms sort of make a semblance of sense.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at almost any mock for the Hordika, they all just have the one Toa tool.
Well,
and then
because
like
that's how the movie versions have it. They have the one Toa tool in a hand. And
Right.
it looks really cool. And as we'll see in the community section, there's a lot of mocks that have the Toa tool in the one hand. And it looks really cool.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
it's just the superior choice.
So, obviously, there was some sort of...
Because if you're going to do the lopsided arm thing, give them one tool in the lopsided arm so they can beat you really hard with that one arm. Don't
Right.
give them the 2 tools because that says, ooh, this is for precise combatants or like people who are coordinated. Which
Yeah.
the Hordika aren't.
I feel like I would assume that the reason that they did this in the sets was because like they went through all this trouble to dual mold these.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we're going to give them 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, especially if you're only going to use them one time. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Very strange.
Jacob, are we going to talk briefly about the system sets?
Yes, but not in this episode, unfortunately. I wish we were
'Cause
talking
those
about them in this
little
episode.
freakish
Little
figures
freaky.
are weird.
They really are little freaks. Man, the little freaks counter is
Yeah.
catching up to the Greg
Yeah.
counter here.
If we'll call back to the Barraki episode. If anybody can name how many times... Wait, no, the counter's counting little freaks, right?
Yeah.
So if you... At the start of the episode, I want to see those time codes. List how many times you think we'll say little freaks. I don't know why I'm saying this at the end. Go
Yeah.
back in time. Tell your younger self. Guess how many times little freaks is said in this episode.
Just put this at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
You know what? You're a genius. A little
Magic of
freaky
editing.
genius. And then if you are within 25, you get a big old smoochy kiss.
No. We'll send you a sticker or something.
Yeah, a sticker of a
If you're
taco.
within 25. I guess -3.
Anyway,
We said it negative 25 times, so you're right.
so it's crazy because there's really just not that much to say about these because the pieces weren't used in any other sets.
Yeah.
They're like basically all the pieces are new, but they would be exclusive to this set or like ridiculously abundant moving forward. And it's like I don't know what else to say about them, but one thing I will say, these sets are heckin' cheap on the aftermarket. If you want to buy these, you're not gonna struggle. I found a bunch of listings for like as cheap as like $12, which adjusted for inflation is basically retail price. So you're not gonna have a hard time getting your
Obviously,
hands
the
on
most
these things.
beloved Toa team.
Yeah. Not, most of the Toa, like mainline Toa, are not like overly expensive, but these guys like stand out as being especially inexpensive for used ones. And even the new ones are not like outrageous. You could get your hands on them.
Yeah.
So,
Which I agree with, because looking at them, I'm like, why would I want to buy this? It's like, I don't know.
I don't think I've ever intentionally bought any of these, and yet I'm pretty sure I own all of them.
Yeah.
So, there you go. But the Hordika sets to me are just so, they exemplify how I feel about the Hordika as a whole, sets and story. There's good parts about them. There's things that they do really well, but they just aren't memorable.
Yeah.
Like, I look at them and then like immediately forget them.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. It's just how it is.
Wanua's disease is spreading. It's infecting the entire year.
No. I mean, do you guys feel the same way?
Not necessarily. Reading their lore, the lore will stick with me, but as the sets, I'm like, I don't really care what they look like.
The only piece of lore that stuck with me was the kaiju fight at the end, which has nothing to do.
That's funny. I didn't remember that fight at all.
Oh, I remembered it vividly because it's so heckin' dope.
It is really cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish we could have seen this in the movie. This is way
Seriously.
cooler.
Anyways, so yeah, I just kind of feel like memorability, iconography, iconicness are just like not there with these sets. But
yeah, I mean the Toa Mata are always going to hold the iconography slot.
For sure,
like they are.
But there are other sets that are 100%
yeah,
iconic
for sure.
But yeah, these just aren't it.
Yep. But that brings us on to community.
Community.
Ooh.
Oh, the community section.
Community.
You are now entering the community portion of the podcast. In this section, we showcase some of our favorite creations from talented and passionate members of the Bionicle fandom. Alright, first up, we have Web, a Toa Hordika fanzine by Morgan Ryan. And this can be found on Gumroad, and I'll actually go ahead and put the link in the description.
Yeah, because this thing is cool.
Really cool.
So, this person in this group, they've made other fanzines for other years, but essentially it's just like a compilation of like fan-made stuff all about the Hordika. It's like 100 pages long, and it's free, or they say pay what it's worth, right? So you can give them however much money, and you can just look at a cool magazine.
There's 3D art, there's traditional
and
art.
It's really well produced. Like, it's high quality professional stuff.
Yeah. And they have other fanzines as well.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend you check them out because they're really cool.
It's so cool. I don't want to go into it more because like
just
read it.
Just download it yourself.
Yeah.
You'll want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel, if you could put up like maybe just a couple examples.
Yeah, I'll grab a few.
Yeah. But yeah, highly encourage you to go check this out. Send them a lot of love because, and if you can, spare it, send them a couple bucks.
Very cool.
$7,000.
I'm sure they would love that. Okay, next up we have a Matau rebuild by Just a Possum on Reddit, which I love that username. That is just tickles my funny bone. This is such a cool mock. I love it actually because it captures the beastly look that it's actually very reptilian. I think it's because it's using the Rockshi pieces, a lot of the Rockshi pieces,
and it has a tail.
Well, and it's going off the Matau head, right? It's like he looks reptilian.
Especially in the second picture, it looks like a velociraptor.
Yeah.
Like it just straight up does. And I think it's really well executed. And when I was looking through the pics, I noticed, I was like, oh, this is an interesting take on them. And then I saw them standing up like more in a humanoid position. And I was like, whoa, I didn't realize that like this was the same build at first because it looked so different.
I know, it's so cool.
Like going back between the pictures, I'm like, oh yeah, it's clearly the same build, but it's very well done.
Yeah, I stumbled on this. I'm like, holy cow, they get it. Like, yes. It's a nice job, Just a Possum. You're just awesome at what you do.
Oh gosh.
All right. Next up, we have Hordika Mata by Rabble Rubble on Reddit. This is really interesting. I guess the idea is to take what a Mata would look like turned into Hordika, like being mutated, I guess.
So this
is that the idea?
This was supposed to be Matau Hordika, I believe.
Okay.
Turaga Matau Hordika.
Turaga Matau Hordika.
I gotta love the monkey arms.
Yeah. I love this design. It's so cool. Like the big arms.
I'm totally a sucker
monkey.
for arms for feet and feet for hands. I love that trope. Sebulba.
Yeah, dude, all the
design.
comments are just mentioning Sebulba. They're like, oh, dude, this guy's going to beat my pod race. And I just love this design. I'm like, this is so cool. I want to see more Hordika stuff like this.
Yeah, somebody make all of the Toa Mata as Hordika. I want to see that.
Let's just have the Toa Mata look like every other Toa team. Toa Mata as Haga.
All right. Next up, we have a Toa Hordika movie accurate by Ferrick's Journey on Instagram.
We have featured Ferrick's Journey before.
This one's cool. I like it. It's much more filled out than the original sets are, which is generally a common theme with the rebuilds and the redesigns, is that they like to fill them out. So I'm down with that because I think it looks better when they're less holy.
I really like how they did both the clawed hand and the spinner, because the spinner looks like the movie, you know, it doesn't look like an actual Ratuka spinner.
Yeah, that piece, is that from Ninjago?
No, it's a wheel hub.
No, not the wheel hub, the part that it's sitting on.
I think originally from Superheroes.
Because I know we have a bunch.
Yeah, I believe it's originally a Spider-Man web piece.
But like, I think this shows why people prefer the movie versions of how the set should look. Because like the one hand, like reaching forward the tool in the other hand, like it's the right looking kind of off kilter.
Yeah.
Makes him look more like an animal.
Yeah.
Like with the claws.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, this is really cool. I really liked it. I was like, heck yeah.
I think just a thought on that is, yeah, it makes it look like an animal, but it's also leans more into like the horror element of animals, like the disfigured sort of look that you'll see in a lot of horror stories of animals specifically.
Yeah.
Because like animals are generally very symmetric, right? Like you don't get this weird like one claw here, you know, they're not pieced together. But I think that horror look of an animal is where we get this idea from. And it's well done in these that we'll look at, but based off of the movie design.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have another Toa Hordika reimagine, and this is by Oblivimoct on Instagram. This one is, I really like it. It's so, I don't know, it doesn't hit the same beastly notes as the other ones do, but it's still a very impressive
it just looks
mock.
cool. I'm like, this thing is just so sleek.
I
like,
love
holy cow.
the black arm is so nicely designed. It is kind of crazy. I don't know, it's just impressive.
When fans redesign sets, the focus on the silhouette is something that is like really important. I think it's really important that any sort of design has a strong silhouette. And this has just an incredibly strong silhouette.
Do you think that's like particularly because if you're a fan designing a set, the main like medium that it's going to be shared in is through photography?
Yeah, I think that is the case. Because when you're designing a toy, that doesn't matter so much. That said, some of the most iconic Bionicle sets have the strongest silhouettes. Look at like Lewa Mata. Has a ridiculously iconic silhouette. All of the Mata. Takanuva has an insane silhouette. Axon and Brutica have like ridiculous silhouettes.
Axon's silhouette is very iconic.
Like, and I think that's actually, I do think that's part of why the Hordika kind of fail on that level, because their silhouette is muddy. There isn't like any sort of strong characteristic to it or like distinction.
Yeah.
So like these redesigns a lot of times focus on these like not just like strong silhouettes but unique silhouettes, right? Having like elongated limbs or the retrograde legs or
and I'd like to say how they did the limbs on this one are so unique and cool. Like I like to imagine this instead of like as a Hordika thing where half your side is Rahi, it's like almost half your side is like robot or like overtaken by like cyborg or something, because he feels
nanites or something.
Because this version like feels very like Bane as a Tarag or as Vakama, right? So absolute Vakama.
That would actually be super fun to do an absolute series of Bionicle.
Well, I did see a Vakama mock that I didn't put in because it was just so goofy, but it was just like massive. Like it was like 2 times larger than the Mata Nui Titan set. Like it was just blob of red with Vakama mask on it. I'm like, this is absolute Vakama.
I love it. All right. Next up, we have a Vekama remaster. This is by Sonova32 on the TTV message boards, and we actually just looked at one. I guess it was probably just last week's episode where we looked at Nadiki. The Nadika like design, Toa design was by Sonova. So
Really like this one.
I also really like this one. It's very, again, it's more filled in, less filled in than the other ones, but it is more solid looking than the original set. And the choice to build the Blazer, what was it? Claw?
Yeah, Blazer
Claw.
Yeah.
it's
The
super
Blazer
cool.
Claw is, I mean, it's really impressive.
Oh,
I also
looking.
because
love
it
that
takes
it-
that flamethrower aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
It's like it literally makes it the double flamethrower.
I
Yeah.
love that it highlights my favorite feature of the original Toa tool, which is the flamethrower igniters, which are like
that's what we're saying.
an iconic part of a flamethrower, and it just makes it like.
It's like, what's cooler than one
Prominent.
flamethrower igniter? Two.
Well, the Toa tool has two.
I know.
But it's
I'm
just
saying
yeah.
this is part
Yeah.
of the tool.
It's so cool.
And then if you look at the fourth picture, look what Vekama is holding.
Yeah,
the
The
Combat
combat
staff.
staff. So I'm like, this is more
Excellent.
canon than the actual canon.
I love that. I love that new piece too that they designed for specifically.
Greg
for the
loses
staff.
another point.
We're just taking points away from Greg where he has nothing to do with this.
Because-
Greg, you know what? No, give Greg a point
Jacob-
for that
Jacob,
because
Greg-
he included
Greg-
the combat stats.
Greg is the design team. Greg is everyone. The head of Lego is Greg.
Take a point away from Christian Faber.
It's
for
not
this
called
one.
Lego.
I
It's
feel
called
like
Grego.
Thomas is Snape in this situation, and Jacob's Dumbledore. Thomas is like, take 10 points off, and Jacob's like, 250 points to
Yeah,
Greg.
you know what? Add 2 more points onto Greg, okay?
Add a point to the freaky little guy counter. And then take one away from Greg.
Give Greg a point from the freaky little guy counter because
Call
he
it
is
the
a
freaky little
guy.
Greg counter.
I can't wait to see all the counters just going insane in this part.
Anyway, well done, Sonova.
Yeah, this thing heckin'
It's
rocks.
a very good design. All right, we have another Toa Hordika reimagine. This is by
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I can pronounce this. SWJAT Monarch. No, there's no R. Monarch. Monash.
Swajat Monarch.
Swajat Monarch.
I feel like there's definitely some way to pronounce that
Yeah.
that we have no clue what it is.
So I apologize for butchering that. So these are just reimaginings,
These are
really.
absolute Hordika right here.
They're very strange, but in a kind of cool way.
Like if you wanted to make a mutated freaky person, like this definitely hits that note.
I like
right?
sure.
Vekama with his 4 arms or whatever.
Well, I like that in this picture. Vekama looks sad. He's like, "Oh, do I have to be a weirdo?"
You're right. It does kind of look
I know.
sad.
I feel kind of
That's
bad
weird.
for him. But the
I
forearms
like
is cool.
Matau. I think Matau is my favorite
Okay,
one of
that
these.
orange and dark green color scheme, I feel like should not work, but it works so well.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Well, I just like the simplicity of the wings. It's like just the 3 things
Yeah.
really to make it, and it fits.
That's what I'm saying. It's like just easy to read, and it just
it's
works.
very vulture inspired.
Yep.
I like Nuju's like massive claws. Like,
I like
I'm
the
gonna snatch you.
antlers. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's my favorite
He's
thing.
a moose.
He kind of gives me. I cannot believe I'm about to admit this. It kind of gives me Discord vibes. I will not elaborate on where Discord is from. So
From popular internet chat room site Discord.
Yeah. No other Discord. I really like No Comma actually. Okay, I'm a big fan of the turn the water toa into mermaids. Mock kind of I want to call it a trope. It's not really a trope, but like
trend.
trend
Mhm.
because it makes sense and it looks cool.
A trend crom.
Oh.
Trend crom's a Bionicle character. Yes.
It's also a place.
True. I like Onua's little like 2 claws and like raptor looking designs. Like he's the stone toe. He'd be a ground type person, and they use his Toa tool as the tail.
Okay, so that is the
which
tail.
I
That's what I was
do
trying.
You know
think
what he
looks
looks like?
cool.
He looks like sand shrew.
Not really.
I'll put up a comparison
Every time
like
we make a
picture.
reference,
Samuel's
it's
like,
a
it looks
banger.
like Discord. Oh, yeah. Mine looks like sand shrew. Not at all, no.
Actually, wrong.
Okay,
Maybe-
actually, now looking at Sandshrew, I
Wait,
can
let's
kind
see
of
the-
see
let's see
the
the picture.
posture.
And the face.
He's Sandshrews' final evolved form.
Sand slash?
Thomas is awestruck. He's like, I don't even know what to
I think
say.
it looks more like a rock raptor. Another Bionicle set that uses, I think, Onua Hordika's head.
It looks less like a rock raptor than it does sand shrew.
No, it doesn't look like Sandshrew at all. I'm not even being sarcastic. That's the truth. Okay, it doesn't look like a rock raptor at all. look at this thing.
What?
Literally does not look like a rock raptor even a little bit.
I was thinking of something else.
Can the rest of us all agree that it looks more like sand shrew than a rock raptor?
Yes.
Okay, thank
What's
you.
the lizard man in Spider-Man?
Guys,
The lizard.
Lizard.
Yeah, it looks kind of like that.
He does kind of look like
Sound
the
off in the
lizard.
comments. Is Thomas completely wrong, or are the rest of us just totally
Should we
insane?
overthrow Thomas?
Yeah.
Oh, it says at the bottom what kind of motif they're going off of. It says Vacama Hordika, dragon. Matau, eagle. Nuju, Wendigo, which makes more sense now. Onua is a theropoda. Don't know what that means.
It's a dinosaur.
Oh. So he does look like some sort of dinosaur, not a shrew of sand variety. And then Nokamas is a ninja.
I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know what that is. And then
some sort of,
Wanua is a cave troll.
I really like the lime green and black.
Yeah, I think the color
scheme.
schemes on all these are really cool. The thing is, Onua looks more like he's wearing like an exosuit or has like some sort of
Yeah.
like industrial looking thing rather than beastly, but that's my only real comment on him.
Oh no, they have a cave troll.
Yeah. These are really cool though. I like these as reimaginings.
Mm-hmm. Good
just
job.
leaning real hard into the whole animal.
Yeah, which I think they should have done more. That's my
Yeah,
theory.
they should have done that.
They should have anamorphed them all.
Oh, boy.
Please, no. All right, last up we have an Alpha Protocairn Combiner by Cody Avery Design on Reddit.
Oh, I didn't mention the combiners in the tech.
Well, we kind of talked
We'll
about
mention
them.
We
them
talked
later.
about it a little bit. There are combiners. I'll
That's
probably go
so-
back to them.
Is the Rock Raptor not a combiner?
The Rock Raptor is a combiner.
Ooh. Another Rock Raptor W.
So this one is just like a fan-made combiner, right? Like, it
What
says
is this,
mock
Jacob?
on it. So
It's a fan-made combiner based off of the Protocairn official combiner.
It looks so good.
The
I
original.
like the use of the teeth. That's
Yeah,
so
I know that
smart.
was the part that I loved.
Yeah, the masks coming
Oh,
together.
Well, yeah,
That's
and
really
putting
cool.
the mask, putting Wanua's mask backwards.
Oh, that's
Is
genius.
really
I was
smart.
trying to figure out how they
Yep.
did that. That's so cool.
So the original Protocairn is a combiner of 3 of the Toa Hordika. I want to say it's Vacama, Onua, and Wenua maybe. And this one is, I think, the same.
I think it's
actually.
all 6.
Is this one all 6? No, this one is all 6.
Yeah, it's all 6 because it has 6 chest
Yeah,
plates.
it
Right.
says
Which I think
6
form
Toa
a really
Hordika.
cool tail going
Yes,
down
I really
to the
like that
thumper.
too.
Yeah, and it's cool because this is supposed to be just like a larger version of the Protocairn.
I especially
really
like
cool.
the front feet. I think the front feet look really cool.
Yep.
Those
Yeah,
are the
I think-
pieces that we were talking about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, I would genuinely be impressed by this as just a mock, but the fact that it's a combiner is just really,
really
good.
impressive.
Super impressive.
That is very cool. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
I like that the Rotuka spinners are positioned. It looks like they're about to like blow away balloon zombies or something.
Yeah. Very aggressive posture there.
The next entry was actually emailed to us by a user called Maro Ghost, who goes by that on all the platforms they're on. So if you want to see more of their stuff, that's what they'll be under. And these are Toa Hordika renders and redesigns. So this is the first one. This is
Ooh.
Nokama and Gaki. And the first thing that really stands out to me is that the Rahaga have more of the stylings of their Toa designs. Because the Toa Haga had canon designs. So this is imagining what a Rahaga would look like. if those designs were made before. And then I also like how big the Hordika is. Like, Nokama is like larger than the normal sets and has that sick tail.
The hands are low-key freaking me out. I like them, but whoa.
Yeah. One thing I do like about Nokama being bigger is it now makes the fin barbs not look freakishly oversized.
True.
It just looks normal sized.
Yeah.
Also, the accent color is cool as well.
I really like the Rahaga, the Gaki Rahaga. That looks really good.
Yeah, the staff especially, I really like.
I'm a big fan of like maintaining that like canon Toa appearance across the Rahaga, but like it's still very clearly a Rahaga.
Very clearly, yep. Got the Rakshi head.
Big fan.
So, next render is Nuju and Collis fighting Unarak, I believe. And we go more with the bird design for Nuju, which fits because he's the one that speaks to the bird Rahi.
Bird language boy, we like to call him.
Yes. I like this design. The wings look really cool with his spikes, so great use of that. And Collis, I like his head design because he's one of like the weirder looking Toa Haga.
Yeah.
And then last we have Vakama saving Matau, or like not saving him, either about to beat him or about to save him, right? I think the tails give a great sense of the beastliness of what the Toa Hordika are supposed to be. Also, this scene is just framed really well, and I like the use of those pieces for the webs.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like Vakama's and Matau's designs here. They both look really good.
I also think using the Blazer Claw for the tail, but it's like not activated, looks really nice.
It's giving Charizard.
Yeah. No, if it's Charizard, he'd be dead.
Fair point.
Because the tail has to be a glow.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay, good. Anyway, so I think these are sick and
dope and lit.
And there are more in the future, is what this user says. So
beautiful.
We'll be hyped for those.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing my boy Bomanga.
Boy manga.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending that in, Maro Ghost. That was very, very cool.
Yeah, and if anyone else wants to send in stuff and it's related to the topic of the episode, we will feature them on the community section. So
please do. We love seeing your stuff. It's actually the highlight of the whole episode.
Yep.
All right, well, that finishes out the community section, so...
Sweet. These are some high quality MOCs. I did not know people went that crazy on the Hordika. Like, I thought they were kind of forgotten, but I'm like, I guess people like them.
Surprising amount of Hordika
More than the Borak Call, at least.
Yeah,
Justice
true.
for the Borak Call. Yeah, so coming up next, the next episode will all be Web of Shadows.
Ooh.
We'll go over Web of Shadows. We'll be like, oh, wow, this is a cool movie, or ooh,
talk about
boo.
those little freaky figures.
Yeah. Talk
doing
about
their little yoga poses.
Wait. Who are you talking
The
about?
little system figures. The system
No,
Hordika.
that's not Web of Shadows.
That's not Web of
No,
Shadows?
that totally is Web of Shadows.
I thought that was Web of Shadows.
It's straight up Web of Shadows.
Okay, I believe you. I barely know anything about Web
They're
of
just
Shadows.
doing little funky yoga poses.
That's
all
the
like different
Egyptians.
little weird.
The poses you're doing are the King Tut dance moves.
Well, maybe the Toa Hordika are just all doing the King Tut dance.
Maybe the Toa Hordika would have been more memorable if they were Egyptian themed.
Maybe the real Toa Hordika
Probably.
Or the...
are the Visorak we squished along the way.
That we couldn't shake off of our feet.
What?
Because
Thomas knows that.
yeah.
Maybe
I got it.
It's 10:30. We're tired.
Maybe the real Toa Metru were the ones that were originally put on the Toa discs and written on the wall and not chosen by Lee Khan.
Wait.
Maybe this whole thing
No,
was
think
a
about it,
mistake.
Samuel. If it had gone that way, Akmu would be a Toa.
Wait, guys.
He and Nadiki would have gotten along really
Akmu
well.
could have been a mutated little freak. we missed it. Darn
His
you,
ultimate
Makuta.
calling could have been fulfilled.
Samuel, you know what this means, right? One more to the little freak
Oh, I know.
counter.
I'm gonna
I
be
will like to
listening.
say though that Akmu has been in more like full body combines canonically than Onua has, because he helped form the Mata Nui. So we know he can get along with people. Onua, not even once, has done that.
To be fair, as soon as they were out, that he screamed and ran away. So
I like to imagine he like bathed himself in hand sanitizer. Just like,
he jumped right into one of the fire pits.
Yeah.
Actually, this is brilliant. What you do is he ripped his hand off, threw that onto the ground, and then jumped into the fire pit. That way a part of him was still remaining so he could be respawned by the red star, but he was cleansed otherwise.
join the Akmu Haters Club, merch dropping, sometime maybe.
It's just Hafu beating Akmu to death with a hammer.
If you would buy Akmu Haters Club merch, let us know because I will make it. If even one person in the comments says I want Akmu Hater merch, I will make it.
It's a haters club. It's a club that you use to beat Akmu.
All I can think of is that random meme where like the two people walk up and start just punching that like other guy, and it's all I can think of is it's Hafu and Jala, and just they're beating up Akmu.
Good.
Yeah. Dude, any closing thoughts?
Yeah,
On the
let's
Hordika.
end this episode. It's been 3 hours.
Okay, make sure to tune in next time for all about the Web of Shadows. Good
Join
night,
our
folks.
Patreon so that you can hear the full unedited version of this.
No.
Bad idea.
Okay, yeah. Next week, all about Web of Shadows. Be there, be square. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
This brings us to the end of today's podcast. If you enjoyed the discussion, please follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you like to watch instead of listen, you can also find us on YouTube. The Barraki Talk Show is only made possible thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.